All right, folks, calling to order the Lakeville Park Commission meeting on Monday, May 3rd, 2021 at 6:33 p.m. In accordance with Governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law related to the 2020 novel coronavirus outbreak emergency, the May 3rd, 2021 public meeting of the Lakeville Park Commission shall be physically closed to the public to avoid group congregation. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to facebook.com/LakeCAM. You do not need a Facebook account to view the meeting. This meeting will be recorded and be available to be viewed at a later date at LakeCAM TV. Okay, as a preliminary matter, this is Joe Kasha, Chairman of the Lakeville Park Commission. Permit me to confirm that all members, staff, and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Commissioners, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Paula Houle.
Here.
Tony Cupie.
Here.
Darlene Lee.
I am here.
Okay, staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Nellie Woodburn.
Affirmative.
There you go. Anticipated speakers, there is no anticipated speakers for this evening, correct, Nellie? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good evening. This open meeting of the Lakeville Park Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Lakeville Park Commission is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the town's website. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that folks may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials have been provided. Members of this body are available to the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Here are some ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. And finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go into the agenda. Any new business for the commission? Nellie, I know you were going to talk to the Board of Health. Any updates on that there?
Yes, if you want to review that now, it's about Ted Williams Camp in the bathrooms.
Okay, that's might as well.
Okay, so let's go through that. I did speak to the Board of Health in terms of the bathrooms there. Our Board of Health agent stated that he felt a sign on the door stating masks need to be worn, one person at a time, all others need to wait outside, would be fine to open the bathrooms. I additionally added that we could close the other stalls. I think there are 3 in there. I'm not quite sure if there's 2 or 3. I don't know. Is it 2?
Yeah, Joe and I and Darlene were there, right? Saturday, yeah.
Okay, great. So we could potentially close one.
No, Paul, you're talking about the other one. We're talking the one across from the lodge.
It's 3.
Right, the one across from the lodge, Nellie. That's the one. That's the one door each.
That's the one that's one door each. He has not seen those.
Oh,
at all. And I was thinking, wasn't Bob working on that? Is one of them not working?
They need work. That's one thing we have to get Bob to work on because they're awful in there. We gotta get Bob. But the
Yeah.
other one you talked about, where's that? Down by the
The maintenance building.
yeah, that's
the
the big
maintenance
one.
building. Yeah.
I think there's 3 stalls in each, men's and 3s in women. Yeah.
Okay. So additionally, along with the sign, I said that we could possibly close 2 of the stalls to ensure it's one at a time. And try to mitigate, a crowd going in there per se. So he felt with the sign and perhaps closing the other 2, our bathrooms could be open. However, if there's a complaint, if like 5 families go in there at once and everybody's hanging out in the bathroom and there's a complaint made, they're going to get shut down again.
It's kind of hard to monitor, isn't it?
Well, I think we have to put up the sign and just respect that
for the
people are
best.
adults and they're going to have to manage the bathrooms on their own.
So
Yeah,
do we
just have to
really
hope
need
for the
to,
best.
do we even need to block off the other 2 stalls? What do you guys think about that one? I mean, you can see other people using them. They're gonna get around that, I'm assuming, if they're in there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Unless we take the doors off.
And they'll still, it doesn't matter. I think we just open them up and see what happens. Put a sign up, 1 person at a time. This is getting ridiculous. We're discussing bathrooms for hours.
Yeah. How about can we take the doors off the other 2? That would be an indication.
They still use them, doesn't matter.
What if we put a sign on it, out of order? How's that?
That could work.
2 of them are going to be out of order. All right.
I think the
Yeah.
best we can post the rules and people are just going to have to be adults about it.
Hope for the best. That's it.
You're being very kind, Tony, but I don't think that they're going to take that route.
So what if we go that route? What if we just, like Tony said, put a sign on the door, say
Out of
1
order.
person allowed at a time and let it go.
Mhm.
And mask required. I get, that sign
Yeah.
on the door. Let's do, and we'll have to work on getting the other one open. I'll work with Bob. Nellie, you and I maybe deal with Bob and see if we can get that one cleaned up and ready to go.
Mhm.
When do we want to put that into play on that?
ASAP.
That's the other
I can have
question.
signs probably end of day tomorrow.
Okay, so now does that mean the other people, the porta potties are no longer going to be needed, or we want to keep those in? Just in case people want to get rid of those.
Do we have do we already have porta potties there that the park department has put in, or?
No, the sports teams have gotten those.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If the sports teams have paid for them, then they can choose
Keep 'em.
what they want to do.
Well-
If they want to continue to pay for their own porta potty, by all means, but we're going to try to open our bathrooms.
Yeah, I think we would be safe to do that.
I think until we have a full restrictions lifted, they can have their porta potties there.
Yeah, because if something gets violated in the restrooms, the other 2, and we have to close it down, then they're not going to have their porta pot, so they may as well keep them.
Darlene, you have something to
Well,
say?
I guess we have 2 choices here. Don't worry about the bathrooms and just reinvest in a porta potty, like at John Pond or whatever, okay? And just the park department puts a porta potty there for the women's soccer, for whoever needs a porta potty. I mean, at this point, we need to supply some kind of bathroom. People are going to the police station. They can't go to the police station to go to the bathroom.
I mean, that's out of our hands. We don't tell anybody to do that. So
Yeah, but they
I guess
can't.
are we in favor of opening them up with the sign on the door? Tony's going to get the sign, 1
Sure.
person at a time, mask required. And
Yes.
we'll monitor the feedback.
Do you need a
so-
motion?
Hold on,
Yep.
Nellie.
Who will be opening and closing the bathrooms? Usually it's John Mirando. I know he's not there this week.
Does John Miranda have any staff that are? I mean, his responsibility is in the agreement that he can clean the bathrooms weekly.
It is. He's away on bereavement right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was set up
No.
being that it's bereavement. He has his younger coaches doing doing the classes, but I don't think they're set up to clean the bathroom and lock it up and open it up. I don't think I'm not sure they even know.
If we're discussing opening the bathrooms, are the bathrooms in shape to be open currently?
That's a very good question.
So I guess what I would suggest, we'll get with Bob. Bob, see if you can take a look at them. Let us know before we open them up. We'll get a sign from Tony, but we won't open them up yet until we agree. We'll send an email around when we think we're ready. If they're clean, maybe somebody here will volunteer to inspect them, if you will, before we open them.
Do we need a work request for Bob to be able to do that?
No, Bob works for us. We can mention it to him. But again, who wants to take it down? Do you want to speak to Bob about that, or who wants to do that?
Can't Bob open the bathrooms? I mean, doesn't that make sense? If Bob must have a key to the bathroom.
He's not there in the morning
Right.
per se, and he's not always there Monday through Friday.
Gotcha.
All I was thinking was just someone's going to go in and take a look and clean them first. Make sure they're okay to open up because they've been sitting all winter long. So we got to make sure they're ready to go. All right. Once they're ready to go, we got the sign on the door. Then we got to notify people they're okay to go. So we're going to give ourselves some time to do that, a couple of days maybe. So we'll get with Bob, have him take a look at it. And Tony gets the signs.
Yeah, I would say once Bob says it's okay, then we open them up.
And it's
All
go.
right. So Tony, you let us know we get the signs. Just let me know. We'll get with Bob and we'll put that information together and we'll move forward with that one. And
Now, is this also the bathrooms across from Loon Pond Lodge, the smaller one, or no?
Not yet. That needs work.
Lot of
we're gonna
work.
get Bob, take a look at that and see if we can to get them functional.
So that doesn't need a work request, or
That Bob works for us.
so
we'll
so
take
he
care of
knows
that.
about that bathroom. He's working on it.
No, we will let him know that. If we haven't yet, we'll get hold of him tomorrow. Or Nellie.
So Scott is the commissioner that's in charge of the employees. Who's doing that in his absence?
You and I are
Vacation.
gonna do that. You and I are gonna
Me and
do
you?
that. You and I are gonna do that.
I got authority.
You and I
Yes,
are gonna do
thank
that.
you. Okay.
There you go.
On another note about those bathrooms you're talking about, Tony, across from the
Loon
lodge,
Pond Lodge, yep.
they probably need to be torn down. I mean, there's a good possibility that they're going to be gone.
Well,
Okay.
uh,
well,
Also, this
then-
place,
then
I
that
don't
needs-
know, but
then it
the
needs to be
building's falling
assessed, and we need
apart.
to.
we'll let Bob assess those for us. How's that?
Or the building inspector. I mean, they're not safe.
Which ones are you talking? The one we saw on Saturday?
Yes. Yes.
We will have Bob assess them. If I have to, we'll get Teddy down there, take a look at them, and then we'll go from there. For the ones across from the lodge. How's
Okay, as
that?
long as we get some bathrooms open, that's all that counts right now.
But like I said, we can have you have porta potties now, and maybe we can give that third one, that one with the 3 stalls each, open by the end of the week, maybe. We'll see what
Okay.
happens. How's that? All right.
Yep.
Okay, Nellie. What about the? Oh, hold on. Yeah, I'm jumping ahead here. I'll get back to that. Any other new business for the commission?
Well, going along with the Board of Health and the COVID-19 updates, so a question has already been brought forward about the mask mandate outside. And the way that a team is interpreting it, and I am as well, is that a lot of teams are still going to have to wear a mask because the kids are not separating 6 feet because they're playing. Does that seem correct with everybody? As long as you're maintaining that 6 feet of distance outside, you do not have to have a mask on anymore. But if you're not maintaining 6 feet, like say the kids playing soccer or something, they're still required to wear a mask. Is that correct?
That's the way I understand it.
I thought, like I'll talk for the baseball or softball, whatever. People on the field do not have to wear them. If they're on the in the dugout, they have to maintain social distancing and they put a mask on there, but not while they're playing. I don't know if we're not asking players to wear masks, are we? Like soccer
A lot of
players-
them were wearing masks, Joe. I don't know which
I don't-
teams were and which weren't, but they were.
I'm just saying. I mean, but what's the guideline there? I thought was if they're playing, they're running around. I don't think they're gonna be able to wear a mask.
Well, it was a requirement to start. And the outdoor mask mandate has only just been lifted. So prior to this, which I think the outdoor is May 1st, I don't recall off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But prior to this, they were supposed to be wearing their mask while they were playing.
But
Yes.
but now I didn't know how it was since the mandate was lifted for the outdoors.
if they can't maintain that 6 feet, they have to. So say like soccer, they have to because they're running right by each other. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
I think it's a question for the Board of Health.
Yeah, and
If we're at all in a gray area, then it goes to the Board of Health.
right. I mean, that's not our decision to make anyways. That's the teams and board, like Tony said, Board of Health.
Well, the teams wouldn't make the call. We'd have to say what the guideline is, and then they go from there. So
They must know the
Nellie,
guidelines.
you want to go down and get the guidelines from them for soccer, whatever sport's there, soccer, baseball, have them tell us each one what they can be doing.
Okay.
Okay.
For the guy, whatever the guidelines is. And then we relay that to the teams, and if they want to all wear masks still, fine, if it's whatever. How's that? Make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, again, I mean, all we can say is you have to follow the current guidelines.
Yep.
So,
We can't force people to really do anything.
Darlene, you got your hand up?
well, you said new business, so it's because it's not on here. I got a couple of emails about the basketball nets. You know, people asking about the basketball nets. Are they going back up? Nellie might know the answer to that.
He does.
Okay, go
I
Nell.
talked to him about the basketball nets as well, and that other towns did have them up and such.
Yeah.
The reason why they weren't up most recently was because the number of cases in schools had spiked so much
Yeah.
that they didn't feel it was safe at that point in time. So what the Board of Health agent is waiting for is seeing a nice decrease in active cases, especially with school kids, to then bring them back.
At both Clear Pond and Ted Williams.
Right. Especially at Ted Williams, he just wants to see a good decrease, and then he's looking to get those back up, soon. Yeah.
When's he going to give us an update? Does he give a date at all, or how often?
No, I think he's just monitoring the cases, but I can check with him weekly and see how things are going.
If you could, because other towns are doing it, other schools, same thing, same issues. I'm just, I like to be consistent, if other towns are doing it, if you can.
I agree, Joe.
I mean, that's been, again, of all things, those hoops are down, people are screaming to use those, so anyway. Nellie, anything else?
Well, just one question. Do we need a vote to open those bathrooms? I'm just curious. I don't want to, is it just a consensus? Open the bathrooms, done, right?
Well, we got to get together, we get the guidelines to the Board of Health, we got to see what
Okay.
condition they are first. So
Okay.
they're not open yet, until we say they're gonna be open, we got to see if they're good enough. Someone's gonna give them a thorough cleaning, in case there's any mold or whatever it might be in there. I don't know what they look like inside.
Okay.
Let's see what we get from Bob.
Let's just say then, upon the approval from Bob and that they're in usable condition, that they will be open.
I'll
Right.
touch base with him and let you guys know what he says with how they look.
That works. Okay.
Any new business? Anybody else? All right, moving right along to old business. Meeting minutes. Nellie, any meeting minutes to review?
No, I apologize. I was working on meeting minutes, but we needed Scott for those.
All right. Okay, moving right along. Open items from the last meeting. I've got just a couple that I sent them meeting notes out from last time. I have some items I want to go over, see where we are that are not on the agenda. First one, soccer with Darlene. You were going to check with the soccer folks about moving the nets out of the way for the maintenance crew when they do the lawn. Any update on that?
No, but I haven't talked to anybody yet. I just kind of, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, no problem.
I will take care of it.
Basketball hoop you already talked about there.
I'll take care of it.
All right. Tennis court repair. Paula, I'm supposed to get with you, and you and I didn't get together yet. I think we need to get together, go over those bids, and then make a recommendation for the board. All right, we'll do that in the next week or so. How's that?
That's good.
Is that right?
How many bids do you have?
There's 3.
I have 2. I think Joe has 1.
Yeah, we have a total of 3. So we'll go over those. We'll get a recommendation for the board to vote on after that.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Can I just ask on that, Paula, the bids were they all cut to primarily do the same thing to the courts?
Well, the
or-
2 I got, I thought were the same, but I may miss it. I think maybe the one that was so big at 48,000, I think he counted 4 courts, dividing one of the pickleball courts into 2. So instead of having 3 consecutive courts, I think he's adding a fourth because of the pickle division in the pickleball court on number 3. So there is a variation in the estimates.
You know, all right, we'll go through those and make, again, make sure they're, apples to apples. How's that?
Yeah.
Hopefully I have a recommendation for that there. Good one. Okay. All right, just another item I had for you, something I wanted to address. I saw the last couple of days a lot of chatter on Facebook or whatever it was about the Lakeville haunted house. And I just want to say that I'm going to go over where we are right now, what the plan is going forward and all that. So I do not want to rehash stuff that we've been going over ad nauseum in the last 6 months, 8 months, whatever it is. So personally, the way it is, and I know the reason why it came out is because it's on the warrant, the town warrant for the to approve the money for the demolition of the haunted house. So we've had discussions on it. We've had, I'd say, experts look at the building, consider everything to be done, and the vote was taken. We approved the demolition of the haunted house. We're not going back on that. That's what it is. There was a price tag that was determined what it would cost to do that. That's already been determined. Might be less. Who knows? We don't know for sure. That was an estimate that we got. That's that's on the town warrant. What I would ask, if people, the public wants to help out, possibly, the only thing I see as an open item on that is the contents. I'd like to liquidate the Halloween items inside, sets, as well as costumes and equipment. So if anybody else, we know if anybody might want to email either the park commission, maybe Nellie, of say, hey, they'd like to volunteer, maybe I'll work with them, because I know, I've been in there many times, to liquidate the contents. We cannot let people go in like a shopping store and just go in, so we have to do it in a different manner. So I'd like to get people's ideas, because people had a lot of them online. But if somebody wants to volunteer, a couple people maybe, I don't want 50, like 2, 3, 4 people, work with me on how we want to liquidate the contents. Because I think there's some merit to what's in there. But once again, it's not a long drawn out process. So I want to see what people think of how they want to liquidate that, how we go about it. Maybe it's some things we can donate to some groups or whatever it may be. But I said, we're going to move forward with it.
Could we set up maybe a day or a date that, because we don't want people obviously going in there, that we would be able to have the stuff come outside?
Yeah, and like I said, I'd like to have a group of people decide what's the best way to do it. It's again, go ahead, Nellie.
Are we still wanting to videotape the contents?
Possibly, but it's difficult to do because of the darkness. There's some things in there we don't want to be showing. So I'd better have some people have some input online. I would welcome their input if they want to, get it with us. A couple people, I'll work with them because I've been sort of heading up anyway with this on how we want to look at the contents and go from there. But I said, if they want to help us out, that'd be great. But again, where we are, it is coming down. We're moving on. We're not looking in the rearview mirror. We're not going to redo anything. It is what it is. I just want to put that out there for everybody. Paula.
Yeah, we had discussed the town highway department taking the tools and stuff. Have they gone in to take them, or is that yet to come out?
No, I'm going to get with Franklin. Him and I have to meet probably later this week. He wants to do that. So yeah, but like I said, what I was looking at is the leftover stuff for the Halloween stuff.
Well, and I'm told there's some good stuff in there that, could be used in other haunted houses. So I think the power of Facebook is huge. We can put something out there, or I can, that says, hey, we've got some stuff for sale, make an offer.
The only thing I caution about putting stuff on Facebook, we don't want everybody and their brother coming down this place and going in that building. So I want to keep it small. I got a few people.
Safety's an issue.
So I do not want,
I
do not want this on Facebook, if I can help it, of, hey, we got stuff in the building, come on by.
Right.
No, it's not.
No. I don't mean that way, but just, is anybody interested in looking and see what we have?
Yeah, so I would recommend if anybody wants to email the park commission to Nellie here, and I look at the emails and we'll try to do that. I think that's a nice way to go, unless anybody has any suggestions. But we want to move forward with it. It is, once again, there's a lot of debris out there around this, so we can't have too many people around the building.
Yeah, well, I got an email that said, why $50,000 in the budget? And I said one word, asbestos, and they said, understood.
Well, I mean, people don't understand. Again, we've been going over this for a long time now. The park commission paid for like 12 or 15 dumpster fulls of stuff to be moved out of there. That's only tip of the iceberg. And that's just outside.
It's a
And we have
disaster.
another,
Oh, yeah.
we probably have another 20, 25 dumpsters to go.
At least.
So I don't want to talk about cost. It is what it is. People estimated that, it is.
done.
I mean, they
It's
don't
done.
realize how big the building is, how much stuff is outside. So
It's-
again, I want to leave it at that, but I just want to let people know we'll work with you, but we're not going backwards. It is
No.
going to be demolished, move forward from there.
It has to come down. You got it.
And we had an email Nellie received about somebody wanted to do a story on that. I will
Yeah.
pass on that at this time. We don't need any more. I'm not going to rehash everything that we've done over the past.
Right.
So we'll get the input from some folks to help us out, and then we'll go forward with liquidating it there.
Why were they, Joe, why were they looking for an article on the haunted house?
I don't know.
This reporter's just doing an article, period. Whether we comment or not, the article's coming out.
So we will refrain from commenting on that there. I think you look at our minutes, it is what it is, what we've done.
Mhm.
We're moving forward with it. I know a lot of people, getting the stuff.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what'd I do? I did.
No,
something.
you didn't do anything.
Thank you.
Joe's stuck.
Was I stuck? Okay.
No, Joe is stuck.
Oh,
There
Joe's-
he is. There we go. Okay.
All right, I'm bobbing and weaving. Sorry about that. Okay, next, Ted William Camp updates. If it is bullet item, when we hit the bullet item, if you were the one to put it on the agenda, please raise your hand and you can speak to it. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, the first one is the baseball cap removal from the lodge.
Well, it needs to come down. We know that. So do we need a motion to take it down?
Yes.
I can speak to that. We need the motion so Teddy's crew can go in and do it.
Okay, I move we take the cap down and find a good home for it.
I second that motion.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a vote. Everybody in favor, say aye. Paula?
Roll call.
Aye.
Roll call vote.
Oh, yeah, that's where I'm going. I said Paula,
Sorry,
that was
sorry,
Eileen.
And I said aye.
Aye.
Tony?
Aye.
Yes,
Okay. Joe, aye. So ayes have it. We will move forward, taking that thing down, find a spot for it.
Where?
That is
Where?
ours,
they're
right?
working on it. They're working on it.
That is ours, correct, Nellie?
It is ours. It
So
needs
we have
some
to
work.
find a spot for it. I don't think it will fit in the building. I don't know how many pieces it
I
comes down.
think it would
don't
be
know.
good on the side door of the office.
I
You know,
don't
when you
think-
come into the park,
I don't think it'll fit.
Well, that's fine.
Teddy took a look at that
Oh.
and he didn't feel that it would fit there.
Darlene,
Okay, I talked to Teddy about that. It will not fit on the building. We know that. He and I talked about maybe using it as a photo op. Maybe build something it sits on, kids can take pictures, whatever. Just making it part of the park. So he's gonna come up with a couple of ideas. We'll come up with a couple of ideas, maybe. We'll figure it out, but it has to come down. We know that. So,
who's working with Teddy on that one? Darlene, it's yours.
All right, Darlene, so you're going to write a work order for that?
well, yeah, and they've already got it under control, but I will. Yes, I've talked to him again today too, Teddy.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, next one. If any more discussion on that one? Moving right along. Priorities at Ted Williams Camp.
I got me.
Darlene,
Okay, couple of things. So I took a tour, as you know, Joe, Paula. We already talked about the basketball courts. People talked about the tennis courts. We talked about the bathrooms. I'd like to address two items there. The Alexander Gamache Playground. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that playground, but Alex was a baby who actually happens to be Teddy Delarocco's nephew, who was born on May 12th, and he passed away on November 14th, a year and a half later. He had leukemia. So his family started the playground. So I think we need a rededication. I think we need to maybe put out some kind of fundraising for it. I know that the Delaroccos are making a new sign. Anybody that goes by can see the sign is worn and it's lousy. And because we did have equipment in there, playground equipment, had to come out, just like the playground equipment that had to come out at Assawamsett. So we need to get different, safer playground equipment in there like they've done at Assawamsett. So I would kind of like permission from the committee to perhaps start some sort of fundraising campaign for that. For example, when my mom passed away, shortly after Alex passed away, we, instead of, in lieu of flowers, make donations to the Cancer Society, we had donations to the Alexander Gamache Playground. So it afforded, a bench with my mother's name on it, maybe some plantings. The other thing I was thinking, some of the scout troops may want to beautify it, maybe want to plant some flowers. So I think that we need to make it pretty because it's the first thing you see when you pull into the playground. The camp is the playground. It's beautiful. It just needs to be cleaned up and jazzed up. So I would like permission from the committee to perhaps start some sort of fundraising campaign for that because, you know, it could cost some money. And I do think a rededication would not be a bad idea, even if it were next May on his birthday, May 12th. Just a thought. I'll make a motion to give me permission to fundraise, but I don't know how the committee.
I make a motion to
Thank you.
allow the fundraiser for the Gamache playground.
Second.
Okay.
Roll call vote. Paula,
Aye.
Darlene,
Aye.
Tony,
Aye.
Joe, aye. It has it. Darlene, if you could put something together just to let us know.
Yeah, I will. The
Go.
second one I have is the John DeCarlo Fitness Trail. It's not a nature trail. It's a fitness trail. Anybody that's gone down there can see that it's a fitness trail. It has been vandalized. There is paint on the signs. It looks lousy. But I don't know if anybody knows about John. I did a little research on John because I do remember this. I was in town. He was in 8th grade and he was hurt in a mini bike accident and he ended up a quadriplegic. He went on to be in the Paralympics games. He went on to scuba dive, do a lot of cool things. He died in his 30s. His family fundraised or paid for a fitness trail. I think out of respect for him, we need to clean it up. I don't think it's been neglected over the years. Joe, you and I took a little tour the other day. I rode around with Paula the other day. Again, his family, I'm sure, would lean in and wouldn't mind that we bring it back and make it beautiful again. I did speak to Teddy about that as well. And he agreed, you know, it just needs to be jazzed up a little bit. It just needs, you know, some of the equipment's been pulled out, needs to go back in. Again, I'd like to fundraise for that too. I mean, I don't have a problem asking for money. So I just want, but I don't think people realize what's down there. Like last time I was there was to watch my granddaughter play softball. I watched a softball game, I left. I watched a soccer game, I left. I didn't walk around. And now that I took a tour and now that I've jumped in and decided to get on this committee for the next 3 years, I'm not going to drag my feet on any of this stuff. I want to fix it. I want to make it pretty. I just think it needs some work. So again, I'd like a motion on that.
Well, we're not making much any money. If you want to work on that, go right ahead. I think we're all set on that.
Okay.
Again, I would say put together a plan of what you're thinking, pass it by us. So we can talk.
Well, I'm thinking it's going to take money. Oh, the other thing I had thought of too is I think that would be a great Eagle Scout project, to be honest with you. I would like to put that out there and see if there's any, I'm just going to say scouts. I'm not going to call it Eagle Scouts because it could be Girl Scouts that want to do it. Any kind of scouts. Maybe that's a good scout project for somebody and they may need a little money from us, which is fine. But I just think that, you know, we could get some people involved and fix it. Well, I talked to a young kid in town he's a senior in high school. And I asked him, I said, have you ever heard of this? And he said, oh yeah, I used to walk down there, da, 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 da. And I'm like, and it's a mess. And he said, oh, last time I was there, I couldn't believe people painted on the signs and what have you. So let's bring it back out of respect for John and his family. You know, it's time to come back and jazz it up.
Right on.
Okay.
All right, I'd say once again, put together a plan, what it was going to take to do what needs to be done. I know some clearing of some brush. I know fixing the signs. I know these 2 stations I think need to be put back in the ground.
Correct.
But I believe they're all on the property. They're still there.
Right.
So it might take minimal money, but let's put a plan together for that. And like I said, I like the idea.
I'm going to reach out to the scouts for sure, Joe.
Yeah,
I'm going to
I
reach out.
like the idea of the rededication too. I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
The town needs to know that exists over there.
Right. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it's really a nice property, you know.
I think your idea, Darlene, of doing, when you were talking about the Gamache thing, that it was dedicated, you said on May 12th or something.
Well, he passed away on May 12th, but I said, no, he was born May 12th. I'm sorry. And
Well, same thing along the lines
rededication
with the
on that
other,
date.
the fitness trail, that, you know, the anniversaries come up and,
Right.
you know, those dates can be dates where, you know, we might have a small gathering where people can volunteer to try to beautify those things to maintain them for the years to come. And that's kind of an anniversary. Okay, May 12th, then that's a good time to get together for the playground, just like the Lions seems to do at that across the street from your flower shop there. And every year they seem to come down and pull the weeds there.
Sure.
I don't know what the significance is for that, but if there's some significance for people, then it might draw them out and get them to volunteer.
Good. Thank you. Thanks,
I
Tony.
think it's a good idea. I think we need to show off, other than the sports stuff that exists at that park. And the playground is fabulous. The fitness trail, I call it the nature trail, so I'm my mistake. I think the fitness trail is a great thing to have, a great plus for the town. But I said, not many people know about it. So I think we can
They
use some
don't.
signage maybe down the road. Tony can help us out on letting people know that exists over there. Good ideas.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, highway department to-do list.
And can I, before you go on to the highway department on Ted Williams Camp,
Yep.
Joe, I noticed that the office building is peeling in terms of paint on the fascia board and in the front on the gray, siding that needs repainting in the front, and the fascia boards that go up to the peak, they're all peeling.
Okay, that is on the list of stuff we have for Bob, to see if he can do that. So we'll.
Okay, it's already on the list?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, highway department to-do list. Someone put that on there.
One of the items that I had was for Clear Pond, for gravel at Clear Pond.
Okay, so, but nothing for highway to do.
I think that the idea behind that one was, so Scott is the liaison, but we don't have sort of a spot for the list. Like everything's
what?
being sent to Scott, but there's no list that everybody can kind of look back on and go, oh yeah, we did mention that. You know, where is that? Like, is that still going on, sort of deal?
What I'd suggest, and then, well, I'll just talk to Scott. I'd like us to have a running list in the office, right on the wall in the office. So then they could add to it. Scott would look at it occasionally, and then we could check things off. So I will suggest that to him when he gets back. He gets back next week from vacation. Maybe that's what we post if it works for everybody.
Yeah,
But
that
we
works.
sent- We sent a list to him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we did. Yes. Yes. But I guess that's the issue is I don't know what's on Scott's list. I don't know what's getting communicated to the highway department.
Yeah, and we don't know what they're going to do and when they're going to do it.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's the clarification.
Yeah, we'll have Franklin and Scott give some feedback once they get together on that when Scott gets back. But yeah, we can have a list of stuff there. I mean, once again, they're gonna work on it when they can, but yeah, we'll get that communication going. I think that's a good idea. Right, Nellie? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just as long as there was a list everybody could refer to was really the idea.
Yeah. I would just like to see, a date that it was brought up at the commission, and then when things get completed, a date when it's completed. So we know that it doesn't go on for 2 or 3 years, or hey, some
Right.
things might get done in a week, and we're like, wow, we didn't even know it got done. That's awesome.
Yeah, because he got his gravel over there at John Pond and it's done. But I don't know when ours is going to get done. But which brings up the issue of if we can't get a hold of a commissioner, Joe, are we going to come to you for an answer? Because we text and we don't get answers, and that just can't continue.
I don't know what you're talking about. We texted who? We're going through Scott. So Scott will be like Nellie said, liaison with the highway department. So we'll work with Scott on that. If he should be he'll be responding to us. I don't know. Am I missing something on that one?
Yes,
Okay. What am I missing?
no response.
Phone?
Tony has texted him and he texted me and we've tried to reach him. We wanted to follow up on the list.
Who's the person? Who you texting?
Scott,
Okay, well, he was on vacation.
No, he wasn't on vacation 2 weeks ago.
All right, we'll work on that there. I don't want to talk about when he's not here.
Right,
When
I'm
he
just-
gets back, we'll sit down and go over it. Again, it's a list of stuff that we want to have done. Doesn't mean it's gonna get done because we said so. So I want everybody to understand
No,
that.
but we would like a response as to whether or not it's been addressed, whether it went to Franklin or it didn't go to Franklin.
All right, we'll have that, like I said, we'll have that going with Scott going forward. But I just want to make sure, once again, they have their own things to, we ask them things we want to have done. We'll get that communication going back and forth without a doubt. But just because we want it doesn't mean we get it. So I just make sure of that. So,
Yeah.
Colleen, what do you got?
well, I get that. And then I guess a follow-up with that would be perhaps at our next meeting, ask Franklin to attend, or maybe Teddy to attend, and maybe can answer some of these things. And the other thing, back to that, the school committee's meeting in person. I hope that one of these days we actually get to meet in person. I feel like things will get done a little more fluidly.
I would love to meet in person. Now, you know,
Right.
we can do it next week. It'd be great. I wish we were there tonight, but
I know, it's
I-
hard. It's hard to be on the Zoom. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not, my ADD kicks in, you know, I have a hard
Yeah.
time. Okay,
but once again, we'll look into that. Hopefully next meeting, Nellie and I will take that on, see if we get meet in person. But we'll get Scott to give us an update first before we give us Franklin. Let him get his feet wet, back from vacation, then we go from there. All
okay.
right?
All
Make
right.
sure make sure everybody gets, all the items get covered.
So I know that the next thing on the agenda it says nature trail update, right?
Yeah.
But no, I'm sorry, it doesn't. I cheated. But can I go back to Ted Williams Camp for 2 seconds? Just 2 seconds.
Go right ahead.
All right. So when I took the tour, right, there's these beautiful soccer fields. So I'm on 18 and I look to the right and these soccer fields are gorgeous. They've got green grass and they look beautiful, but you just can't get to them from here. So whatever happened to a parking lot out there? Like, I'm confused, and I haven't been involved, so I really don't mean to sound like a dummy, but like what?
Where it stands is the parking lot, we didn't have funding to finish the parking lot. I
Okay.
believe soccer, that's why I was looking at maybe some funding to do it, have someone do it for them.
Yeah,
But we can't open the fields yet until we get the parking lot
right. You can't
usable.
break your ankle walking down there.
Exactly. So that's, hopefully we can get this resolved this year, soon.
They're beautiful. They're just sitting there looking green and beautiful, and I was like, how did that happen?
Yeah. The point is, we didn't have any money. Excuse me, I don't know if Scott was talking to anybody or Nellie, I don't know if you have any update on that, but we were waiting for, I thought, for bids or somebody come through with donations possibly to help us finish the parking lot.
I think so. I think Mike was working on that, asking for it. And I don't know if he got an update from that or not before he left the commission.
All right, I'll reach out to Mike. I'll ask him.
Right.
Yeah. And Darlene, it really was COVID hit and
No,
no
I
funds
understand
from the
that.
lodge. And
Oh,
as soon
no,
as no funds from the lodge, we done. But now with Boston Tavern,
Yeah.
we
Well,
should
no,
be getting
I'm
some
just
stuff.
curious because they're so beautiful. You know, and I looked at it and I said, I couldn't even walk down there without turning my ankle. So,
Yep.
I mean, you need a parking lot, obviously, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where it stood from the past meetings there.
All right,
We'll
I'll
wait for
reach
the
out
parking
to
lot to be
Mike.
done.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I'm sorry I went out of turn.
Yeah, no problem.
Not really. I'm not really sorry though, Joe. I'm not.
I know. Okay, the next one, the maintenance position responsibilities. This is our guy, Bob. I looked at the list we had for him. Scott gave me before he went on vacation. I eliminated a lot of stuff that deals with field maintenance. So I've got to share it yet with Bob, and we're gonna hopefully post it in the lodge. And I gotta get Bob. I gotta make contact with him. He won't be doing any field maintenance. No more lawn mowing, no weed whacking, no mowing around the lodge by hand, no blowing the leaves. We don't need to do that. Franklin, his group, Ryan, and them will take that on there. So we're freeing up Bob's time away from any maintenance any field maintenance, if you will. I'm going to focus on the stuff that we need. The bathroom unit. I'm looking at my list here. Trash collection from all the barrels around Ted Williams and the trails. I think he does that now. He'll continue to do that there. Cleaning and general maintenance of the bathrooms at Ted Williams. He's going to be keeping up the bathrooms, keeping them clean, and fixing the one across from the lodge. Clean up and trim around the Gamache playground. We have been responsible for that in the past, and Bob has done a nice job of that there. He'll continue to do that there. Going to clean the office weekly. The walls, the floors, the windows. That thing, we got to get that thing cleaned up. He'll help us with that storage area. That's going to come like a dump. We're going to try to clear that out. We'll ask Bob to help us with that one there. Paula wanted him to maintain the plants around Ted Williams. We'll ask him to do that like Linda used to do. So those are some of the items we have on Bob's list to do. But like I said, we're taking anything that involved the lodge or the fields is coming off his plate. We've got that covered elsewhere. We don't need to be doing that. All right. We'll post that in the lodge too. In the office. So if you're around the office, you can take a look at what we're asking Bob to do. If we come up with anything else, we can talk about it and put it on this list. But we're going to go over that with him the next day or so, so he realizes what we want him to do. But he said it's some things we want to focus on and away from the maintenance piece. Nellie, you want to say something? Okay.
Oh, does Bob, is he the maintenance guy for Clear Pond as well?
No.
No.
Just for Ted Williams Camp?
If any other discussion on that one, we talked about the nature trail, fitness trail, and the bathroom discussion we already had. So Any more discussion, anything else to talk about at Ted Williams? No,
Nope.
okay. Moving right along, sports updates. Any more contracts to review, Nellie?
Yes.
Well, just one question. I was at the office about a week ago, and it was mail in the mail slot, so I was being nosy, and I looked at it. It was a contract for soccer, some group, but on the first page, they had every day checked off, but they didn't have times or where they're going to play. So I think we have to, whoever's got soccer, I think we need to look into that because you don't have the whole park,
Well,
every day of the week. I know we have to find out when you're going to be there. That
the
makes sense.
contract you saw was the Freetown Lakeville Soccer Club. They are the ones who take over most of the fields. They're the biggest soccer group we have.
But they didn't have the times on there or the dates. They don't have it from January to December, so I need to know. I mean,
No, their start and ends. They start April, they end in June.
okay, so that was just not on the contract. That's all. It was just blank. That's all I saw.
It is.
So,
It is.
How many days a week are they playing?
The start and end dates are on there. They basically play every day. So what happens is because they have such a wide range of ages, they're all broken up between the week for practice times. And then they'll go and do Saturday, the littler kids, and then they'll have games. So the only other thing is they women's soccer plays on Sunday, but Freetown Lakeville Soccer still plays like Sunday early, while women's soccer plays Sunday late. So they do play like every day.
so I said, I didn't look at these other documents, but that front page didn't have that on there, so it just wasn't complete of what times they're playing and when. I didn't see that time frame on there. That was blank, I thought, on the first page.
Yeah, the hours for field use is blank, and I think that's because they can't give an everyday time frame because the coaches try to make their practices during the week at an optimal time for everybody. So let's say half your team is also on another lacrosse team or something like that, and they practice from 4:30 to 5:30. Okay, they've changed. Instead of practicing at 5, they'll practice 5:30 to 6:30 instead. And that's usually within the coaches.
Okay, I just want to make sure that Darlene doesn't schedule someone, let's allow someone to play at 7 at night. And then we say, well, no, soccer's there. Well, we didn't know they were going to be there. So as long as she's okay with the schedule wise, but it'd be nice to know when people are going to be there whenever. I just didn't see it on there. Because I just want to make sure that we're filling out the documents. That's all.
Yes, and I do have that one. I got to get a copy to you, Darlene, of
Okay.
soccer.
And we
worries.
usually, do you have any of those to us to review and vote on? I mean, we have to approve those. So have we approved that yet? We
The
usually,
soccer one, not technically, no.
so but they are playing though.
Yes,
So you see, I'm going to go with that, don't you?
I do.
So we
And
have to get ahead of that.
yes, no, and we do. And historically, we haven't waited for the contract to approve play. So that's why it's sort of changed up. So come the fall, we should be ahead.
Historically,
that.
is it going to be in rear view mirror, Nelly? We have to make sure we start doing that, living to what we say we're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
let's make sure we have the contracts approved by us before anybody gets on the fields.
Right.
All right. Okay. So is that the only contract we haven't looked at yet?
No, we have horseshoes. And Tony has that. I know he stepped away for a moment here. But we do have horseshoes for their singles and their doubles. No, wait, for their singles and 2 tournaments. Yes.
Are they, what's the time frame for them? Because I remember we met with the woman from the horseshoes. Are they in that 16-week timeframe?
May 3rd through August 23rd.
It's more than the 16 weeks they wanted, right? Or is it not? Or is that all?
It's not, because we
Okay.
would have done April through July, and they've shifted it to May to
Okay.
August.
So as long as it's in 16 weeks, they pay for one season. That's
Right.
fine. That's fine. So Paula's going to take a look at that, right? She's got horseshoes?
No, Tony,
Tony does.
Tony
Okay.
has horseshoes, yeah. So I
Okay.
just sent those to him today because I got those in. But they're pretty easy. Monday evenings is the single play, and then they have 2 tournament requests.
Yeah, I have all those dates on the spreadsheet that I made. If you guys all want a copy of that, I can send it to you. But there was nothing conflicting on any of those.
So we all set with that? I mean, they
So-
paid, I'm assuming? Contracts all set?
Horseshoes has not paid yet. Their numbers only finalized last week, so I expect a check.
Are when's the start date?
For
May.
their singles, May 3rd.
Today.
Okay. Again, we have to make sure we get the money and contract complete and approved before people use the fields or whatever they're doing. So we got to tighten that up as we go along this year. All right.
So, yeah, so definitely for next year, then we should have a deadline for payment.
But like it says on the contract, you can't play until you pay. The contract's approved. So it's already on there. We just have to make sure we manage that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Anything else for oh wait, women's soccer request.
Yep.
Darlene, I think that's you.
Well, they're asking for relief on their money because they were told facilities and they don't have a facility to use, meaning the bathrooms. So I don't know what you want to do with that.
They're asking for what, Darlene? Relief on their money?
I think so. Is that what I read, Nellie? Right?
Yes, they would like a reduction in cost.
Because they're playing, but they don't have a facility to use when they're there.
But didn't they sign a contract that said they had to provide their own porta pot? That was on everybody's contract.
Is that
No,
in
the portable restrooms are not on their contract.
It's not on the contract. Okay,
Nope.
stand correct. Somehow that came up with all the teams providing their own because of COVID.
It wasn't mandatory for every single team to provide their own. It was suggested, but it was also told to them that there were no restrooms available otherwise.
Okay.
So correct me then if I'm wrong. They knew that going in that there were no restrooms available.
Right. When they received their contract, it was informed that the restrooms were closed, like as they were last year. So it was
Okay.
the same process of the portable restrooms and such. Now, last year we had COVID funds and we did have 2 portable restrooms there for the park in itself.
Are there
We
any
do not have that right
available
now.
this year for that? No COVID funds again this year for that, or
Right.
I asked and I didn't really get an answer.
from?
I thought the COVID funds ran out. I may be wrong in interpreting what Mr. LaCamera said, but something about COVID funds were no longer available.
Speaking
going
of Mr.
forward.
LaCamera, I thought that we were going to have a member of the Board of Selectmen at our meeting tonight.
I think she texted me and said she didn't think she could make it.
Okay.
No one said anything to me or added it to the agenda, but
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
I was just told someone would be here.
so let's stay on subject about this women's soccer. What's the what's the decision then?
What are they looking for, Nellie? I didn't print it. I'm sorry.
They just said since we are incurring the extra cost of paying for portable toilets, we believe it would be fair to ask for a credit on our parks and rec fees since bathrooms are normally a part of the facilities we pay into as a league.
Well, if we do that for them, we have to do that for all the other teams.
Right.
That could open up a can of worms. So I don't know that that's something we can do. Just me.
No, I agree. If you do it for one, you have to do it for everybody.
And I do
Just
think that if bathrooms don't work out, Joe, if we can't open those bathrooms for whatever reason, I think we need to put a porta potties down there, our own porta potties. Like we did for voting day, there was a porta potty down there.
That wasn't us.
Day.
Wasn't us. We
That
didn't.
wasn't
Right,
us.
it was the town. I know that.
Just
Strictly
a
for election.
clarification, last meeting, when they talked about the price of the thing, it was it was $165, but that's for the month, not a week. Someone said it was per week, but
I
that's for
heard
the
that.
month.
Yeah.
So just so you'll know. No, but we do not we're not gonna give a price break. Once again, strange times with COVID, they want to use the bathroom, they gotta get their own, like the other teams have been doing.
So that was incorrect on the 160 a week, right, Darlene?
Yes, I just heard that. I heard that today. As a matter of fact, when we were talking about the porta potties, I meant to say that. I was corrected today. I was told 160 a week, and I just assumed that was true because of COVID. What do you know? I didn't check.
That was awfully high for the week, yeah.
Right, 165 or 160 for the month.
Actually, it's 28 days the way they did. I just
Well,
had
whatever, 4 weeks.
No, I just, and they come to Lakeville every Monday. So if anybody has it, they do it cleaned out every Monday. Just so
Gotcha.
people know that.
Thank you.
All right, so we're all set. Were they going to communicate with the soccer folks on that one?
Yep.
Ellie?
We're just
Okay.
gonna write him, Nellie, we're just gonna write him back and say, sorry.
Yeah,
Well-
I'll do that and I'll attach you on it.
Thank you.
So what, they didn't specify how much they're looking for?
No.
No.
Okay.
I just
I
feel,
mean, is there a possibility that further COVID funds would be released this year and be allocated to the park?
You'd have to ask the town.
the Board of Selectmen, I would think. right?
I mean, I could see that if you were paying for something and you expected a facility to be there and it's not there, then, if we got a reimbursement for COVID relief funds, that then it could be allocated evenly throughout the leagues that incurred no bathroom, if it was 5, and then we give them $100 back pending COVID relief funds.
I think that's a question the Board of Selectmen would probably be able to answer.
Sure. And if the funds came in and the Board of Selectmen was
agree.
able to allocate them back to us, then we wouldn't have a problem then, because then we would be able to
Right.
justify.
Tony, during the budget meeting, I asked Mr. LaCamera if there were funds available, COVID funds. He indicated they weren't any more funds available. Now, if that changed, I don't know that, but
And that's what
that
I'm
was my
saying.
understanding.
Only if it changed, then would we be able to provide
You're
something.
right.
As of now, we don't have anything,
Right.
but if we were provided something, we're not just going to take all the money that
Yes.
seeing that we could pay it back. Because yes, those teams did pay for it and they weren't able to use the facilities as
All
they
right.
normally would.
So we're all set on the sports updates for the soccer request. Moving right along. Claire Pond Park. First of all, let's the first item on here was review current prices and discuss options for non-residents. Just wanted to let you guys know, right now, the way we voted and approved it, the only prices we have approved is $80 Lakeville residents, $4 and $6 for the gate fees. There's nothing else that we voted on or approved or looked at. So I've heard other people throwing things around. Right now, that's all it is. I'm sure Tony and Paul will have some suggestions and recommendations, but it has not been voted on and approved. So that's all there is right now.
Right. So
And hold on for a second, Darlene. And also from talking to Leah, I think some emails, we are going to keep a cash option. It's not going to be cashless. We have to work through that there. So, and there is you have to go through the town if we're going to do anything, any credit card stuff, or whatever. So that has to go up through us to the Board of Selectmen and discuss there. We can't make that decision at all. So that's why we'll lean on Leah on that stuff there. But Tony and Paul,
Do we
if you
need to
want
make
give an update where we are.
well, why don't we start, Tony, with what we needed in repairs so everybody's aware.
Well,
And
do we want to start with pricing?
Let's stick to the agenda. Hold off on the other stuff, Paula. Let's talk about the pricing and any options
Okay.
you guys might have. Where
right.
are we on that? Once again, just let you know, we're less than 8 weeks away from opening day.
So I want to make a motion then that the cost will be $100 for residents for the season. And then it will be $8 for residents for a daily pass, and they can bring a guest as well, or multiple guests as long as they're there, as well as then children or anyone under 18 is $5.
Second.
But before we go there, I think what we have to do, I want to make sure that I want to see the breakdown on this here. I want to figure out where you guys are figuring this out. Let's look at the math before we do that. Before we just say this here and the impact it's going to be. We already talked about one time raising the fees from the 80 to 100 and the negative effect it has. So I would ask Tony and Paula to put something together to show us what you have to justify going up to those different prices, so we can look at it first. I want to make sure the whole board can vote on that, and Scott's not here, so.
Well,
Uh,
here's the story, Joe.
Hold on. Darlene, go ahead. You had your hand
Well,
up.
I just want to say that we can't keep putting this off, first of all, okay? Second of all, we voted on opening the park. I don't know that we voted on a number for the price, right? So
Right.
We have a motion, and- wait a minute, Joe, we have a motion and we have a second on the floor.
But-
So I
Again,
motion and I second it. Wait a minute. So just let me finish. Paula wanted to go first and talk about what was needed. And that would have been the smarter way to go, because then we would know why we're going to vote for 100. Okay.
well, first of all, hold on for a second. We're going by the agenda items, and that was not brought up on the agenda items. So I'm going by what I have. So what I want to do is, this money thing, I just don't want to throw out numbers if we agree to it. I want to look at it. We still have time. We haven't done anything yet, but I think we want to take a look at the impact of this money, what it's going to be, because we already had discussions several times that $100 was not a good number to go to. It went in the opposite direction. So where are we getting this idea from for this money, and how we look at it? It is an increase. So we have to vote on it, but I'd like to see more background information from Paul and Tony on where we came up with this here. I'm not saying to push it off forever, but I think we need to look at the whole package. On
Well,
just
the background information is that we're not having non-residents. So
Yeah,
That's
so you
the-
don't know how many residents are coming, so you're not going to be able to give you a number as to how much money we're going to take in when we go for a season of residents only. This is the first season of residents only, and we know that we're not going to go by $80. We need the $100, and that's reasonable. $8 for an adult, $6 for a child.
$5.
$5 for a child, I'm sorry. And then there's daily passes at $8, right?
Yeah.
So you can't put numbers together when you don't have numbers of people to show at this point, but we need to increase it
Through
because
speaking with Doug, he did say that about, I believe it was 90 families bought passes last
98
the prior year when it was open to everyone.
season. Mhm.
So, I mean, based on that, if you charged 100 times 100, it's 10,000.
But we, again, just with the feedback we had from Nellie last time, is when they raised or looked at raising to $100, it went in the opposite direction. We weren't going to get 97. It was actually 97, 19. We might get less. So it's going the other way. So again,
that's
wait,
also-
hold on for a second, one at a time. Just all I'm saying, it has a negative effect. So I'd like to look at what you were proposing and kick the tires on it before we go ahead and vote on it and lock it in. And I would just ask that it would be nice if we had the whole board here. I'd like to have Scott here as well, because he's got some feedback and information in the park. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying we're not going to do it. I'm just saying I'd like to get the whole board to understand it, kick the tires on it, and have time to think
No,
about
we're
it.
trying to do that now.
To
We're
be
trying
fair,
to do that now.
we
And-
need the
and
numbers so
nobody-
people
and
can
you're
pay
not
for
letting
it.
us talk. And I'm trying to tell you that we've already discussed this. The question is, can we get this $100 or can we not? And then the fact that it's going to be another issue with credit cards, which we need to vote on. According to Lear, the board has to vote on that. But there is nothing more that you can say about the $100 raise other than yes or no.
There's plenty we can say about it, looking at some history on it, which we do have it in this board. Scott.
But that's a history, Joe.
wait,
That
one
was
at a time.
5 years ago.
One at a
This
time,
is
please.
today.
Please, one at a time. Let's not talk over each other. All I'm saying is, I don't have a problem with you bringing up some ideas on what you want to charge, okay, which is different than what is approved right now. Okay, I think we need to take a look at it, the impact, as well as what everybody else thinks. Get some feedback. This is the first time hearing about these numbers. I didn't know this $8 is news to me. This other stuff is news to me. So we don't have that information yet. I appreciate you guys bringing it forward. Let us look at it for a week. That's all I'm saying is 2 weeks we'll vote on it. Let's look at the plan.
Joe, we have to get this information online. We can't go 2 more weeks.
Again, what are you asking for? And I think we can go 2 more weeks on it. If you have to have a meeting next week, we have a meeting next week then. Go 1 week. All I'm saying is, let's take a look at what the plan is.
we're asking for 100 for residents. We're asking for 8 for residents day and 5 for people under 18.
Yeah, that's a different structure than we have now. Do you agree? No.
Yeah, it's a different structure. Yes.
So I'm saying that let's put it out there. Let's look at it. Let's get the board to take a look at it and think about it.
Well, Paul and I and Doug have discussed this.
Okay, but Darlene, Scott, and myself have not. All I'm saying, to be fair to everybody on the board, I'm not saying you're not gonna go ahead and do it, and Doug is not the director just right now either. We have to talk about that tonight too. So I just wanna, hold on for a sec, Darlene. So I'm just trying to be kind. I'm not trying to be a pain, but I'm saying I think we need to look at this whole thing here and see what the proposal is. Not saying we're not gonna move forward with it, but not tonight. I think we need to look at it before we vote on
I
it.
think there was a motion on the board, on the floor already, Joe.
Yeah, and I'm not
Seconded.
talking about that first, because I think I can pull that back and say, I don't want to have the motion.
I don't think you can reverse it, can we?
Oh, it was not approved. We had discussion on it. Nellie, go ahead. You're gonna say something, Nellie.
I was gonna say that the motion could just falter. You don't have to vote on it.
And this is, am I next, Joe? Joe?
You are now.
All right, so, Robert's Rules of Order here, talk about that. Motion's been made, it's been second. So we don't have to vote on it, we can vote on it, whatever. Point being, I think waiting for a 5th member who's not here, he wasn't here last meeting 2 weeks ago. He's not here tonight. And
He hasn't been for 2 months.
I don't know. I mean, I'm new. I'm still the new.
Okay,
I just think that if I wasn't here, I wouldn't be mad at you if you voted on something that I wasn't here for because I chose not to be here.
All right, and I hear you,
And I'm just saying, Joe, I think at this point, I'm frustrated and I think Tony is too, because we're the new guys. And, the last 2 meetings where, we'll discuss it in 2 weeks. We'll discuss it in 2 weeks. Well, it's time to rip the Band-Aid off and maybe make a decision as a.
True, but there's certain protocols you have to follow. I understand you're new, and I believe I appreciate the enthusiasm, but there's certain protocols we have to follow that we've followed for years. I'm not saying we can't change things, but we just don't go everything's not a shotgun approach.
But we
Sometimes
did discuss a price change at the last meeting.
we
Yes, we
did.
did.
We didn't discuss.
And I tried to present on it and I was denied.
Oh,
Nobody
okay, guys.
reached out to me about changing the numbers. In other words, I got emails about the basketball hoops. I got emails about soccer. I didn't get any messages about raising the prices. So people that heard it they're watching us. People are watching us. Nobody reached out to me and said, Darlene, don't raise the price. So I'm going to say that to you. Like, I don't have a problem with this motion.
Okay, I hear you, and I appreciate your point, but there's other people on the board as well. All I'm saying is, this is a big issue for the town, for us. I like to understand the information here. I'm just getting it now. Didn't have time to look at it, no idea. So all I'm saying is, wait a minute, I'm still talking, please.
Sorry.
All I'm saying, and I'm sorry about that, I'm just saying, let's look at it here. Let me give me a couple days to look at it here. I'd like to get some other input and see what it entails here. That's all I'm saying.
Joe, can I ask you, what are you looking at?
I want to understand what we're looking at, what we're talking about here. And
We're talking about $80 to $100. What is there to look at?
Excuse me. We have a budget approved for the current fees that we had, based on numbers, very conservative numbers of what we're going to get. Within our budget. So someone could say, well, we don't need any more money because we're covered on our budget. All I'm saying is, I would just ask you guys, I'd like to have some time to look at it, understand where you're coming from. That is all. I like to pick Nellie's brain a little bit. I like to pick Scotty's brain, who's been around a little bit. I like that maybe mentions the Board of Selectmen, ask them what they think. That's all I'm saying.
It's our decision.
Joe.
If it affects the town, I think it'd be nice to be involved, someone like even a Leah on this as well. Go ahead, Darlene.
No, I'm gonna support you on this for a minute, okay? I also think that I know that Paula, and I don't know about Tony, but Paula has like a laundry list of things that need to be done at Clear Pond that have been neglected. And I think that would justify a raise in the fee, okay?
Yes, that has been sent over 2.5 weeks ago.
I know, I'm just saying.
Everybody on the
By the fee.
The listing, like I mentioned, feedback I gave you in my notes from last week, some of the items are not going to get done this year. We need to put like a 3-year plan. Without a doubt, stuff has been neglected. We cannot fix it in 1 year. Cannot be done. All I'm saying is, I think it's great we make a list. Let's prioritize some items and let's see if we can get things done. Cannot all get done one time. I don't care how big the list is. Can't be done this year. I spoke to the highway department already. Not gonna happen. We don't have the funding for it.
Joe, what nothing has been responded to on that list of what's not going to happen.
We already addressed that earlier. We will work with Franklin on that list. He did give me feedback about the cost for the stone. It was several $1,000s for the stone. We don't have it. So
that's not getting done. Okay. So beach sand then.
Well, wait a minute. Again, don't. I mean, Tony. Once again, when wasn't built in a day? Yes, some things need to be done. Can't do everything.
Then why don't you just go down the list that I made? You check off the ones that can be done. Simple as that.
Well, that's what's going to happen. We'll get with Franklin to see. Yes, he'll have to do that with us, without a doubt. It's not free.
So
we don't have the money for a lot of that stuff.
So Joe, if we don't raise the prices, how are we going to pay for this?
We don't. We're getting the money from the Loon Pond Lodge. That's where most of the money's coming from for the park commission. All I'm saying is that $2,000 we don't have that. That's what you want for stone. That's all. We might have to rob Peter to pay Paul and some of that stuff.
How did you get the money for the stone? How did you get the money for the stone for John Pond?
Was that?
How did you get the money for the?
It was $500 versus $2,000 for the.
Where did it come from? I'm trying to find the money trail. Where did it come from? Did it come from Loon Pond Lodge? It
came out of the Parks Commission. Park Department funding.
But we didn't have any money, so how does that work?
We voted on the $500 and it was approved about 3 meetings ago.
Yeah, but where does the money come from?
Again, Parks Department money, excuse me. Our money, that's what it's coming out of.
But we don't have the money yet, right?
In the fee, the $2,500 of fees we got for the people who are using the park, that was also would come out of there. So money came in and some money went out. But I'm saying is we can do some things. And we'll get with Franklin. I'll invite him to the next meeting. Some of those items can be done, not everything. It's not conceivable to have it all done in 1 year.
No, but there are some important things that need to be done.
Without a doubt, yes. That's part
and one of them is to raise the fees and also to fix up the things that have gone amok for many years.
Raising the fees is not an expense. I'm looking at the expenses. So I'm just saying.
It's a way of helping.
So the stone was an expense. So again, I just I would ask the board to reconsider pushing the motion forward until we have time to look at what this thing is. $100, it was 8 on something and 5 on something else. So all I'm saying, we look at that there. Once somebody has time to look at it, that's usually what we do. We give people time to look at it.
So what do we do? Take a motion to reverse a motion?
No, you just don't have to act on it.
Well, I would expect then by next week that the list that we've provided, we can understand what items can be done, what items cannot, and that we can vote on the cost.
We'll get with Franklin between now and then, yes, and I'll get with him on that list to see what he thinks he can do this year. Yeah, I'll get that information. Darlene.
Maybe Franklin could be at our next meeting. Just a thought.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll speak to him before that, but yeah, I'll invite him. Yeah, but I'll invite him before. For the meeting, but we'll get some information before that.
And then one more thing. I think that sometimes, and I didn't do this tonight, but maybe one of us should be monitoring what's going on Facebook because there are people with comments and questions, and I know that they're not live, but there's a lot of stuff out there right now.
Yeah, that's fine. So moving along.
So are we going to scrap the motion for now? I'll give you a week. I'm good with giving you a week, Joe.
Yeah, but then it's going to be 2 weeks before we meet, and we're that much closer to opening, and we have a ton of work to do, and this has to be posted online, and we just don't have that kind of time.
I think some other items we want to cover here are going to be done first, and I'll jump a little out of order. The director position. Let's discuss that and vote on that tonight, because I think we don't have.
We have a couple things to vote on, but we have to talk about the $100 and whatever. Yeah. We need to clarify that.
Paula, why don't we come back to that? Let's vote on the director so that we can put that to bed.
So Nellie, position we have, was Mr. Berry the only applicant for the director?
Yes.
I'm sure everybody knows Doug Berry. So if somebody wants to make a motion, or discuss it first, if you want to move forward with him.
We make a motion that Doug Berry gets hired.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Does everybody vote? Yay means yes, nay means no. Paula Hool,
Yay.
Tony Cupie,
Aye.
Darlene Lee,
Yay.
Joe Kasha, yay, yes. So it's motion passed. Nellie, can you move forward next? What has to happen next to inform Doug that we've accepted him for director of Clear Pond?
Yeah, it would just be through HR. HR has to give him the letter, offer letter.
Okay.
For him to accept, and then he just has to do the usual testing, blah, blah, blah.
All right, and also he knows, I'm sure if Tony and Paula don't know, there's some stuff we have to do, Board of Health wise to open the place up and all that, concession stand and all that stuff as well.
Right.
Doug knows all that as well, so we'll
Yes.
put that into the plan as well. Talk about employees, also, we've got another thing, but 4 or 5 lifeguard applicants. Has anybody looked at those?
I haven't seen them. Did you get them, Nellie?
I think they're just going to myself and Joe. As I looked at it today, it looked like it wasn't going to everybody and it was just going to the 2 of us. So want me to just go ahead and forward everything
To Doug?
to you 2?
Yeah. And also, I think Doug has to look at them, right? Because he's going to be the director. And once he gets approved through HR, he will be reviewing all that because he has to check for certifications and.
A lot of
background.
them, we do have quite a few that are returning, so he'll know who they are.
Yeah, that'll be great. I think that if you want to send us the applications and, but definitely once, I don't know how long it's going to take HR to get to Doug Berry to get back to him. But as soon as he gets the word, he should be able to get those applicants also, their applications.
They'll, HR will get to him pretty quick. The only thing is that they'll have to wait for his reports and testing to come back.
Okay.
Now, there was only, I think, 4 lifeguards so far, that's all we're seeing, right? I think, Nellie, is that?
Did you see the one today? We got one new one from Indeed.
Yeah. Now, that was outside, that person is not a returning person, correct?
Correct. They would
So I
be
think-
new.
I think
So
we've
that
had,
would be a 5th?
no, I think
No,
that
I
was a
think
4.
that's 4.
I think there was 3 returning and 1 new one, but I have to look again.
Yeah.
But I think we have to get those in front of Doug as soon as possible to tie those kids, get those kids locked in.
Also, on the issue of attendance and lifeguards, we need a number, and Tony and I discussed with, we picked Doug's brain because he was the previous director. And with the fact that the highway department is coming in to do all the cleaning, other than tying up the trash at the end of the day, the attendants can do it. We feel that we can do with 4 attendants. So, I mean, that's not a vote, that's just our decision. And that's what we think we need, what we have figured out as to how many we need. I know that in the past, they have used the attendants from Clear Pond to come over to Ted Williams Camp. However, that should be on their budget and not on ours, because it just adds more money to our budget to try to raise. And that really isn't fair for us to carry the attendance for Ted Williams Camp when they're not, working at Clear Pond. And so all we need is 4 attendants and 7 lifeguards.
Nellie, you had your hand raised?
I did. For the 4 attendants, is the idea 1 at the gate, 1 in concession, and 2 doing work, so 4 every day?
I think we, I
It's
don't
just
know if it's gonna
56
be
hou-
4 every
56
day.
hours.
How many? 6
think it was-
hours?
No, 56 hours.
56 hours, right. And we figured out that it was, we would need 4 attendants to cover the 56 hours.
56 hours for 2 weeks? Or,
56 hours a week is
For 1
the
week.
estimated time the camp is open. right? 7 days a week, 8 hours a day is 56,
Okay, I see what you're
right?
saying.
Yeah, and of course there'll be rainy days and all of that. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't, yeah, can't. I mean, but you have to go with the larger number. But 4 would be sufficient for Clear Pond.
Yeah, that was my question. So one at the gate, one in concession, and then 2
One-
doing work around, or?
Well, whatever they do during the day, because it's really all they have to do really is take care of the maintenance for the
Right.
bathrooms, and then 1 minute in the concession stand, and then of course the person at concession needs to be relieved for a lunch break and all that. But that was actually needed 3, and then we have an extra coverage.
Okay, so you were looking for 3 per day on a working day
Yeah,
and an extra,
and then an extra.
but the 3 couldn't work every single day.
No, they can't. But that's 80 hours a week to cover 56. If that's that many. But that's how we came up with the numbers. Tony, do you remember how Doug and I we discussed that, and he said we would only need 4 now that the town was doing all the maintenance, or not the maintenance in the building, outside.
That was my understanding. I think that now that we've approved Doug as the director, if we want to have him in the 2 weeks come in on this meeting and then clarify anything for us, we could also with staffing, because obviously he knows a lot about it.
Colleen?
What Tony said is Doug has an idea of how many people he needs and what he's going to need. I think we kind of throw it back to Doug and let him decide. You know, he can tell us.
And I mean, we consulted him before because we didn't want to make any assumptions. And, I thought 4 or 5, and he said we can get away with 4. So I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
And 7 lifeguards.
Gotcha.
So Nellie, if you can invite Doug to the next meeting, I think that's what we want, that's what we're saying, I think.
Sounds good.
So we haven't approved the attendant position job description, correct, Nellie?
That's
Yeah.
correct. And we definitely need to do that because that job description needs to go to the Board of Selectmen as well, because this job has changed so much. It's basically a new position.
So is everybody on the board seen that job description?
Yes, I have.
Everybody else? You sent it to everybody, correct, Nellie, like 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Everybody seen that? I don't get a head nod from everybody. I
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that, and she adjusted it for that the attendant would be remaining at Clear Pond.
So do we want, because those are the red lines from the Board of Selectmen, correct, Nellie? The latest one?
Those are mine. No, those are from me. Board of Selectmen have not seen this as of yet. However, I changed it up. Clarinda has looked at it and she added the appropriate fitness statement to it. So she did the one sent to everybody on Friday was the one she also took a look at and added.
So do we want to make a motion to approve that as is, so we can move by the Board of Selectmen? Anybody?
I make a motion that we accept the general statement of the duties for the attendant.
Second?
Second.
Anybody? Second it is. Okay, roll call vote. Paula, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tony?
Aye.
Darlene?
Yes.
Joe is aye. So Nellie, you take care of moving that to the Board of Selectmen? That job
Yeah,
description?
I'll give it to Clarinda. She'll present it to the Board of Selectmen.
Beautiful.
And so I guess I'll rescind my motion to approve the increase of pricing for 1 week then.
You need a second. Second?
Increase in pricing? I'm sorry, what did I miss?
Yeah, for the
From-
adjustment of the fees for Clear Pond.
The price is, talk about pricing in 2 weeks, or a week, whatever it was. That's what that was.
Okay, you're going back
Keep it
to
in
the
case.
price. Okay,
Tony brought us back there, yeah.
He's rescinding his motion. He needed a second. I seconded. We need a 2/3 vote on that.
So a recap of what we want to do. I'll get that list from Tony, the latest and greatest. We'll get Franklin, get an idea of what was going to cost, what we can do this year and then next year and whatever. Feedback from Leah, Nellie, about the credit card people. We have to go through the town. They've got somebody looking into that, correct, for use of credit cards, and then you have to have phones and all that available to do that. So I think we need to pick her brain before we do anything on that one. I think yeah, I think she's had this discussion with you, Paula, right? Or with you?
she's been texting me, and her last words were, and I'm gonna not read the whole thing, but I'll just tell you that she is saying that we have to vote on it, and then it will go to the town professionals who will go from there in terms of getting what we need in terms of, I don't know, this, instead of a credit card machine,
Paula.
a phone thing, I'm not sure.
So I'll make a motion, Paula, then where feasible at Clear Pond, we will institute credit card machines. That is not to take away all cash, because we will need cash to come in for kids coming in, riding their bike in, to pay small amounts at the concession stand. But if people want to pay for credit card as they come in, maybe their friend, for their fee or their resident fee, then the motion is to bring it into credit card.
Yeah,
That option.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote. If I
No, can I have a little discussion for a second?
go ahead, yes.
So my suggestion on that would be just maybe start small and just have it at the gate, credit card at the gate, and then, maybe next year implement it at the snack bar. I'm just talking baby steps here to kind of get people into the whole concept. I agree with Tony when he says, like you said at the last meeting, Joe, kid buying a blow pop for $1. I mean,
Right.
But there are people buying a coffee for $2 every day on a credit card. So
I mean, that doesn't that doesn't affect the motion, Darlene. The motion was for use of credit cards, not exactly for what. So we didn't get onto that much detail, I don't believe.
yeah.
Paula, you had something to say?
Yes, we're talking about a credit card at the gate, which we discussed, with Doug, and he can explain again if it's support what we're saying. And then the credit card at the snack bar is for bigger things. We're not going to take a credit card for an ice cream for $1.50. We're not. So there'll be some cash. But also, if I were somebody that wanted to come into the park, I don't have a season ticket. I'm a resident of Lakeville, and I want to come for the day. I can come in and swipe my card for the $8 for the day. And it's a way we've got to track the money, and we have to keep better bookkeeping. How's that?
So that does not affect the motion. Tony's motion was for using credit cards for whatever we decide.
I was just responding to her so that you would know.
I just don't want to get caught up in the weeds on that one for what it was for. The motion, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, is just for allowing the use of credit cards there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call vote. Paula, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tony?
Aye.
Darlene?
yes.
Joe, aye. It moves forward. We'll touch base with the Board of Selectmen folks, tell them that we want to head in that direction, but we need their input on what to do. They'll drive the bus on that with, I think, someone from Unibank or something like that.
Yeah, the treasurer has to go and somebody has to work on it, and I'm sure they'll get back to us.
Joe, the hope also is that people can go online and purchase their season passes prior to the season.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
And the other part of that is that there are accounts through the town that hopefully we can use, either Amazon, or we may be able to get an account with, I think they used Food Restaurant Depot in the past, and there was cash being used there, and we should be able to use a credit card or an account so that it can be paid that way and not use cash. Just an FYI.
Okay. All right. Anything else for the Clear Pond part at this point? Okay, moving right along.
So just one second.
yep,
I just
yep.
wanted to clarify that a motion had been put on the floor and seconded, but we did not vote on it. It doesn't have to be rescinded. It can be postponed. Like we were talking about doing, we were postponing it for a week.
All right.
Rescinding it would be a motion we actually voted on and passed.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So we postponed. We agreed it was postponed.
Postponed.
Did we agree
So,
with that?
let's do it this way. Tony, would you amend your motion to postpone for 1 week? That's what we
Yes.
said, right?
Okay, I'll amend my motion to postpone the price increase for 1 week.
Discussion. Okay.
Second.
Okay. All right, Nellie?
Oh, roll call.
Yeah, that's coming. Hey,
All right.
everything
You said
all
all
set.
right. I'm just making sure.
We'll take a roll call vote. Paul, are you okay with that?
Yes,
Darlene,
Yes.
Tony,
Right?
Joe, I. It moves. All right. Okay, moving right along. John Pond updates. Just go over a little issue we had this past weekend down the park. As you know, we have that portable bathroom unit down at John Pond. What happened on Saturday, it malfunctioned. It was not working. Unfortunately, on Sunday is a big day for Free Lake softball. So they were, the people were there, but the bathroom unit was not available. We did not have a backup there. So obviously some parents were not happy with that there. I tried on Saturday afternoon, a couple hours, try to get it running. I tried to get a hold of Mr. Cesspool, get a porta potty brought in on Saturday. I could not get a hold of them. So fast forward, today I went up there, I went down there, had Teddy Della Rocco there and Kevin Thu looking at it. Couldn't really help us, but I did get it running. I did get on the phone. I spoke to the manufacturers out in Arkansas. I think they don't have any local reps. So like I said, we were able to get it going, and I was able to get a porta potty brought in today, as well as I pumped out the bathroom unit anyway. Like I said, it's up and running now, but what we're going to do is we're going to keep that porta potty there through the season to the end of June as a backup in case this unit goes down again. Again, there's so many people there, we can't afford this unit to go down. We don't really have a good grasp on the unit itself. We've had some problems with it. So going forward, we won't be without a bathroom down there. Darlene, you had your hand up?
I just had a question. Do we own that unit? Is that
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So just let you know, I mean, from people at Free Lake Softball, I touched base with them, told them what we're doing. They seem to be okay with what we're doing. But we have to look at, we have to think about what we're going to do about that unit. Again, we don't have any maintenance contracts with it. Talking to the company, they make it sound like there's really nothing to do on it to maintain it. But again, we've had issues with it. So I know some other people in the town, selectmen and others, don't care for that unit. They say the town will not take care of it. It's up to the park commission to do that.
we bought that, didn't we, Joe?
We bought that. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not a mechanic on that thing. No one seems to know how to do it. I do have it going. I've got some ideas on what we can do. I got to get on top of it this weekend, see if I can take a look at the AC unit. But again, I'm not the guy that's going to be fixing this thing every time it breaks down. Hopefully it won't, but things happen. My concern is it's portable. We do not use it for portability. We cover it in the winter time, but it does get mold on the inside of it. Again, we'll see how it goes. I'll keep people in the loop on what's going on with this unit. But again, it's a nightmare that we now have in case something goes wrong with it.
Joe, is there a company that can maintain this? No.
Right now, it might be somebody else. The company we bought it from does not. They don't have any local distributors in this area at all, and that's in the state. So it's up to us to find somebody. But like I was telling the Free Lake softball folks tonight, I mean, it's not much to it in the back there. You open up the back panel, it's just some valves. I mean, it's the electronics you cannot get at. So it's not like, someone can go in and figure out what to do. You know, it's tough to do. I thought I had Teddy there today take a look at it, but again, they don't know. And the feedback that Teddy got from the board of selectmen is, that's the park commission's, it's our problem now, so.
Yeah.
uh,
And did you rent one, did you say, for the?
Yeah,
for
I had
town?
a porta potty brought in today. I'm gonna keep it there through June, because that's the season of free lake softball. So it's a backup, because if this thing's ever gonna go down, it's gonna be on the weekends. It's, you know, as fate usually has it. And we can't afford not to have a bathroom down there. Yes, Darlene?
How old is that equipment? How old is that?
2-3 years?
That's all?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, it sits out you know, out there. It's you know, some of it's showing signs of rust.
Mhm.
Again, it's the money we paid for it. We probably paid a good amount of money for the portability. We don't use it to be portable. We don't take it anywhere. Again, hopefully we're not gonna have any problems with it. But it's a unit that we own, but we got to figure how we're gonna maintain it going forward.
What did
It
we
might
pay,
be a-
what did
might
we
be
pay
a-
for it?
Well, it might be it doesn't matter right now, but it might be a price
50.
associated with maintaining it that we're gonna have to absorb or something. You know, so just something to think about, going more to come down the road. But I said that was something we had to do today. Unfortunately, I spent several hours down there today working on this thing, which I don't want to be doing going forward. But that's just the state of the state for that. I just feel everybody know there's nothing else we have to do right now. But the Free Lake softball folks looked into, or going to look into, maybe getting someone to do like a maintenance thing on it or whatever. Got to see what the cost of that's going to be, and if that's going to come back on us or not, and if we can fund that. So something to think about with that unit there. Other than that, I've got nothing else from John Pond. Any old business to review? Nellie, I have one thing we talked about last time, the office clean out. I think we can have Bob maybe take a look at that storage area, and if it's not ours, give the stuff to whoever owns it or throw it away. I know we talked about the chairs last time. Nothing ever happened on the chairs. Or what do you have on that?
No, nothing did happen as of yet, but to update, Boston Tavern would like to keep 150 of them in the building, in the lodge. They did actually sell an event with covers on those chairs, not theirs. So they'd like to keep 150 on site, and then the rest they would like removed.
Now, did we say do we own those chairs?
We do.
So do
They had talked about an offer, Joe, of $2 a chair. Is that something we want to do?
What are they gonna? What are they gonna do? If those are chairs, are they gonna buy them from us, Nellie? Or
No.
what's the? So they're gonna keep them, but they're not theirs, I thought. Or,
Well, they're not. They belong to us, just like the building does.
yeah, but they're using the chairs, right? And they're not paying for them, right? But they're paying us for the building.
But that's not part of the contract for them to pay for our chairs. I do believe they get to use just like the tables. They don't pay us for the tables either.
But I thought I'm just asking. All these chairs. What last meeting the week before, someone said those are our chairs. We have to get them out of there. They don't want them. So now they're
Yeah,
saying
they
they're gonna
didn't
use
want
half
that.
of them.
They didn't want them. And then now they would like to keep 150 in the building. And then they're going to be using the rest of the ones that they're going to be using are going to be their own, which are a different style.
Okay, I just but someone mentioned last time they were going to offer us money for the chairs. Now they're not, but they're going to keep them anyway.
I didn't receive an offer for the chairs.
I didn't know. I don't know who did, but somebody mentioned
I
it.
remember that. I don't remember that.
But somebody brought it up, right? Someone said $2 a chair. We didn't make that up, right? I don't know who said that.
I never said that. I have no idea.
I mean, people rent our outdoor chairs. I mean, maybe that was a confusion.
I don't know. Someone on this meeting, that last
Paula,
meeting.
I thought you mentioned that, Paula, that they were
Yes,
going to.
I'm, I was waiting to everybody to get through, trying to get a word in. I was in the Loon Pond Lodge, and one of the fellows said, "We don't want these chairs. They're ripped and this and that." And he said, not all of them, but he said, "All right, we could buy them for $2 a chair." And I said that at one of the meetings, and Joe said, "No, they're ours. We're going to store them." So that was the end of it. But I don't see why we can't ask them if they want to buy them for $2 a chair. That's what they are. That's what it was. I think it was either Matt or who's the other fellow, Josh. One of them asked me about.
Well,
The
if
chairs
they're
for-
using them now with covers, that's what you're saying, yeah.
They're not using them now. They're piled up. They had to put them somewhere, but the problem was that some of them are damaged, okay? And they would like to have kept, I think, well, at the time, it came to about $600. That meant that there was 300 chairs. But if they only want 150, are they willing, Nellie, to pay us $2 a chair?
No, they're not looking to buy the chairs. They don't want them. The only reason they're keeping 150 of them is that because they had to use some in the building for their displays. I don't know if anybody has seen that. They've displayed a few tables in each room
Yeah,
with the offerings for anybody who's looking to rent the building. They didn't have enough of their own wooden chairs,
Yeah.
so they used some of ours with covers. They've had a couple of people go, I like this look with those chairs with the covers. So that's the only reason it even popped up, is that they had to use some chairs, so they did.
so since there are chairs, can't we ask them for, to pay for a couple, pay for them? If
Are
they're
we
gonna-
looking for them to buy them from us?
Yes,
Because at the
yes.
end of 3 years, if Boston Tavern doesn't continue, we would be out chairs.
So, again, I made you,
That's 3 years down the road. I mean, we might be getting all new chairs then.
Nelly, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, if we ever needed these chairs for the event we're having, they let us use those, correct? If they weren't
Yes.
using them. So I guess my opinion is, let's throw out the bad ones, the ones that did the damage. We talked about that last time, right? We could go through it, get rid of the bad ones.
Correct.
If they want, 100 of them, and there's 50 left over, put them in our storage area like we talked about. Done. It makes sense. Darlene,
There are not that many bad chairs, I can tell you that, okay?
whatever it is, 2
Because
of them,
every year,
whatever it
I
is.
just know this because every year, the people that ran it before fixed bad chairs or broken chairs. But the chairs go with the building. I don't think we nickel and dime Boston Tavern and say, pay us $2 a chair. Let them use the chairs. If this falls apart and we end up taking it over, or another restaurant comes in, or whatever happens, you got to have some chairs in the building. I think discussing a $2 chair is like ridiculous.
The point is, we didn't bring up the fee. We went asking. Paula brought it up because they said that they approached her. All I'm trying to see is good, figure it out what they want. I think it makes sense, and we can discuss it more. Let them have the chairs they want, the bad ones, whatever they are. 1 of them, 10 of them, I don't care. Throw them away, and then the others store in
the rest.
our room. That makes sense, everybody?
Put the rest in storage, yeah?
I
Yep.
agree.
Okay. Chair piece is done.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna go over. I get an email here from the Board of Selectmen asking some things, and I'll go over it. The Wi-Fi for our office building. Okay, it looks like they're telling me that the cost of installing Wi-Fi in the building, correct me if I'm wrong, Nelly, is $8,511. That's gonna be one heck of a Wi-Fi line, I guess. But that's okay. So the options, there are some options. I think they might be covered by federal grant money, possibly down the road. We don't have it yet. So I asked is there a cheaper option? And if we could go Comcast, $90 a month, so bring Wi-Fi into our office. With the thought, hopefully, by June, July, we get federal money. Then maybe all that 8,500 be covered by that. They did offer maybe if Nelly could go, if you wanted to sit in town hall or the basement of some building, must have been the old library. I don't know. It just seems kind of crazy there, but I just want to, what does everybody think? Because if we're going to move forward, whether it's something we have to vote on, if we want to go after the federal money for Wi-Fi. Nelly.
I think I should talk to this.
Yeah.
I just want to note, I've been with the commission for about 6 years now. And I've been moved and displaced 2 times. 3, actually. So if I get a spot in town hall or the new building that they're using, I'm looking to have a permanent desk. Like, not a table, not just take some space, like a permanent spot where my printer can be and my pens can be, and it's my area, which ideally would be my little office building, but it is lacking in internet connection. And I have a little, but at the next wind blowing rainy day, it'll drop without a warning.
That's why I would not, wouldn't mind if we just have you in our office. I think that's where you should be, in my opinion. Everybody else can chirp in without a doubt. And maybe we vote on if you want to spend the $90 a month for Wi-Fi, which I wouldn't have a problem with. So you would be in our office. I think that's where you should be. And then we could vote on if you want to go after the federal funding down the road for the upgraded, whatever that is, Wi-Fi line. I don't know what everybody else thinks of that, but I agree with you. I think you should be in our office and not in some conference room or basement of some building, wherever that may be. That's my opinion.
Can we put her in the portable
Toilet?
Not the
Toilet
restroom, Tony.
at John Pond?
It has good Wi-Fi reception. I know that. That's what I hear.
But no AC.
I'm working on that over the weekend. I'll see if I can fix that.
How did he?
So I think that we should do that. Like the Comcast is like $80, $90 a month. Get that for Nellie until that whole thing gets taken care of. Right?
That's one of the options. That's what I'm thinking. If you have to truly find if it's $90 a month, someone said it was, but I wouldn't see that as being a problem. I think we could pay for that and then see about the federal funding down the road. If everybody else thinks that's the right way to go.
I think we have to do something, you know.
I think
right,
Nellie
so-
needs to have her permanent spot. Did you get the heat in there, Nellie?
Not yet, but we're looking to get that in soon. Teddy's been on top of that.
I'll give
Okay.
you a
So-
spot at the flower
let's-
shop, Nellie, if you want.
Oh, that wouldn't be bad. It would smell lovely.
I know.
The Board of Selectmen did say they would pay for painting the inside of that building. They
Oh,
would pay
that'd be
for painting
nice.
it. So if we get Bob to clean it out, I think we can have a nice place over there. So, I mean, I'll entertain a motion to pay approximately $90 a month for internet in the short term, and then go after the federal. We'll have to vote on the federal funding as well, but if it makes a motion on that one, it'd be great.
I'll make a motion to have Wi-Fi installed in our Ted Williams Camp office.
I second the motion.
And just to say, just discussion, that would be the $90 option, whatever that is.
The $90 option as of now.
Okay. Roll call vote. What do you think, Paula,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
Tony?
Aye.
And Joe, aye. Okay, so Nellie, there we go. Nellie, do you want to coordinate that with the folks going down that road? The option for the Comcast, I think it is, you said?
Yeah, I'm not sure how we have to set it up, with the town and stuff and get it in there, but I'll talk to Teddy and Leah and
Yeah.
see what we have to do.
Also, I guess if we want to get federal grant for this Wi-Fi project, whatever that $8,500, maybe we have to vote on if we want to accept federal funding for that there. And if we'll approve the project and go down that road. So I need a motion on that.
Can you explain what the difference is?
And again, it's fuzzy, and I just got this today. Let me see. It says from Mr. LaCAM, it said it's going to cost $8,511 for it. He says the only way this project gets funded is with federal grant, which we are expecting sometime in the next few months.
So is there no Wi-Fi at Loon Pond Lodge?
There is Wi-Fi at Loon Pond Lodge. It does not reach to my office very well. That's why it drops.
So even if we ran an underground line over to your building and put in another router over there from
I
Loon Pond
think
Lodge?
that's what the $8,500 is them running a line.
That seems a lot for a cable line.
Just to finish that thought on the email, it does say the Pond Commission needs to vote to approve the project, and then they'll determine the cost and when it can be done. So we'd have to make a motion to go down that road. Doesn't mean we have to take it, I guess, if we wanted to stay with the $90 a month or whatever, but to get included in that, we have to vote on it to be part of that federal funding grant there.
Could we entertain some bids from Comcast to see what it would cost to route it from Loon Pond Lodge to
No,
no.
this
Our
is-
group is TMLP. They have to do it. And that's where the quote is coming from.
Okay.
So I will entertain a motion to, the vote to approve the project to get the Wi-Fi there in there, and hopefully we get federal funding for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the federal funding for Wi-Fi for Ted Williams Camp Office Park Commission.
I second the motion.
Okay, we roll call vote, and we'll have to pass this on to information out to the selectmen as well. Paula, how do you vote?
Yes,
Arlene,
Yes.
Tony,
Aye.
Joe, I. All right, Nellie, there we go. Okay.
Step by step, we're getting there, people.
All right. Also, they talked about, I said, we were gonna have, Bob, ask Bob to clean it inside the office building. They say, Richie LaCamera tells me the town painter will paint all the walls and the ceilings in the office building. So, guess you can pick out a color as long as it's white. No, only joking.
Oh, there are so many shades of white.
They did say there's no plans for the bathroom, Nellie, so you'll still have to go to the lodge.
That's
At
okay.
this time, okay? I'm just reading it to you here. They got a cost estimate for the AC unit, which is not cheap. It's $7,700. The earliest it can be installed will be sometime in June. And that will be covered by the COVID-19 funding. Whatever it was. So that's a good thing, but it would be sometime in June for AC, just in time for the warmer weather.
It's the split unit though, right? The heat and
I
AC?
gotta believe that's the mini split.
Yeah,
So that's, I'm just reading what it says here, but I think that's what they're talking about. That's the
yeah,
mini split.
that's good.
Okay. And again, the Wi-Fi wouldn't be connected to at least July with that thing. So you'll have it if it goes through the Comcast route. Okay. All right. That's all I had there. Anything else? Any other new business?
I just wanted to report to the commission that on May 5th, I will be speaking with South Shore Park and Regional Committee. And that if you have any questions or any thoughts or anything that you want from that group, whatever. I mean, before I got information about the pickleball courts and companies that do this and stuff like that. So they take a few things on the agenda and they discuss it. And but I just thought I would ask if there was anything that you might have questions about that you would like me to ask them. If you think of something, you can always text me, email me, and I'll present it. That's all.
All right. Any other old business to review? Anybody? Okay. Any other business items from the clerk? Nellie.
I don't think I have much. We sort of talked about that.
You did say bills need to be signed, correct?
Correct. Did anybody go by today?
I say the silence is no. So if you ask people if they could go by and sign the bills, it'd be great.
Are they on your desk, Nellie?
They're in the Ted Williams Camp office right on the conference table.
I'll do it in the morning. Okay.
Okay.
I can do it real early.
Yep, they're just sitting there. You go whenever you want.
There's 3 signatures, right?
3 are needed.
Okay.
How do I get in? Can I get in?
You need a key.
You don't have a key?
We haven't met up yet, so I can give her a key.
I can pick one up in the office and drop it by the flower shop on my way. Is that okay?
Well, you can pick me up and take me over. We'll go sign them together.
Oh, such a deal. Okay.
Right. Anything else, Nellie? Any correspondence?
I don't think so. I think that's just about it. Yeah, I don't think I have anything right off the top of my head. Did we want to, I know that, we kind of reviewed the sports contracts. Do we want to vote on those? Are we going to motion on those or?
If we need to vote on them, let's vote on them right now.
Were they complete? I didn't know if you said they were complete though. Did we have the
Well-
checks and all that, or?
No, so the horseshoes, we don't have the checks yet. So you don't want to do it until it's complete. And the only other thing was that Freetown Lakeville Soccer just uses all the fields. So they didn't mark off the fields.
Well, I just think, again, I think Darlene's got the sock. All I was asking is, I just saw the one, I didn't think it was a time on there, so I just didn't know for planning purposes, if we know what time the fields are used, then they're available the times that no one's using them, but we don't know when that was. That's all question I had. But we should be, per the contract, we should be voting on approving those contracts when we have them. We voted on some already this year. If we have to do the soccer one, now we have to do that.
Yeah, if we want to do that, they're all set. There's no payment due from them because they got a credit from last year.
Okay. So is that the only one we're voting on is the soccer?
The only other one I would say, because we're gonna keep the horseshoe one aside until the payment comes in, horseshoes did submit 2 tournament ones. So they submitted for 2 tournaments, one on May 8th and one in September 18th.
Are those separate fees?
They are $2 per player at the tournament. So it is a separate fee.
Okay. In motion to approve those. The horseshoe special tournaments,
May 8th and September 18th.
May 8th and September 18th.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
That's just, but that's just for the horseshoe. This isn't soccer yet, right? Because
Correct.
That's
These are just
just
2
horseshoe tournaments.
Since I had a
Two
question-
tournaments.
I have a question about the soccer before we go.
Now, Nellie, that you said May 8th. That's what, this Saturday, right?
Background.
Yes,
Sunday,
looks like.
Saturday.
And
they-
tournaments are always paid after because they don't know the number so they pay as they get there.
How many people roughly do they have on these? Do you know? We talking 20? We talking
Trying to
100?
see. One of them, the May 8th ones, they're looking at about 48 to 60 is their estimate.
Okay, we just have to make sure we should just let Bob know so he picks up the trash afterwards, so he doesn't sit around until next week or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, roll call vote on those approving of the tournament contracts or horseshoes. Paula, how do you vote?
Yes,
Darlene,
Yes.
Tony,
All right.
Joe, I. Okay. And the soccer one you said, Nellie? That's
Yeah, I've got the soccer one, but Darlene had a question.
Oh, so my question was, I'm reading the soccer contract, right? So I opened it up again and I said, I'm gonna read it again. And there's nothing in here about, I hate to do this again, but going back to the bathrooms, there's nothing in the contract about them providing their own bathrooms.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, am I reading this right? I've read it 3 times thinking, am I losing my mind here?
No, we said it wasn't in there. Yeah, it's not in the contract.
Well, I thought somebody said it was in the contract. I mean.
No, I emailed groups as I sent out their contracts to let them know about the bathrooms.
But it's not
The
in the actual contract.
No, because the contracts were written and approved before the Board of Health closed our bathrooms down.
But we still, on the contract though, it does say COVID-19 restrictions and there's still nothing about the bathrooms. Because I'm reading the Facebook post now. People are responding and acknowledging our meeting and saying things. So we need to respond to those people, okay? That's our job, right? Am I wrong? I mean, I don't know. Am I right or am I wrong? I don't know. So I'm getting messages that are saying, well, it's not in my contract that I have to provide my own bathroom. They're right. It's not in the contract.
but she verbally told them. Is that correct, Nellie?
Yeah, so we found out like that first week in April. And it was probably towards the end of the week that Board of Health shut it down again. Unfortunately, women's soccer's contract was given to them prior to us knowing. So they only found out after receiving the contract
Are they
because we didn't know.
are they the only one?
I don't think so. I think the others were told as the contract was sent to them because that's when we found out. Women's soccer was on the ball. pun intended. And they were early, reached out, were getting their stuff done ASAP.
I think we could reach out to them, let them know that bathroom could be open as early as this coming, next week, the latest, right?
I just told them we're working on it, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're thinking hopefully really soon. That's all I can tell you there on that one for the bathrooms.
Well, because some of the posts on Facebook, kids are peeing behind a bush. I mean, like, we can't have that going on down there. I'm sorry. We can't have that.
I know.
I'm just like,
I know. I don't know what else.
save me the visuals, okay?
I can't believe we're talking about bathrooms again. I just can't. I can't.
Hey, if we can't get bathrooms right,
Yeah,
That's- we gotta cross this one
We got a
off.
problem,
If
Tony.
we're gonna get anything right, we gotta get this one right.
We got a problem. You are correct.
I do think we can update the contracts for next year. Hopefully we don't have to add these COVID-19 restrictions anymore at that point in time. But I think we should break down the facilities of, bathrooms will be made available as we can. But if the Board of Health shuts it down, the team will have to figure out other methods. It's really just that the Board of Health said no, and we didn't have staff to properly clean as often as it needed.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, we are asking the teams to clean them themselves, aren't we?
Well, that's what it says. It says in the contract, they'll clean,
But the bathrooms are locked. They
they'll
can't.
clean their
they can't-
No,
bathrooms.
I'm talking the porta potties. But last time when we had them, we were asking people to clean them every day. The leagues who had them, we were asking them to clean them, wipe them down. So we did ask that. That was not in the contract, but it was something we asked them to do in order to have them. That's all.
No, it's in
It
the
was-
contract. It's in the contract that they clean the bathrooms.
I know, but we went a little further. It had to be daily and all that stuff there. People that didn't have that in there.
Yeah,
Uh,
there was a separate
there's-
COVID-19 regulation document that all the teams had to sign.
Yeah.
Right.
Any more discussion on that?
God, I hope not.
So Nelly, are we all set? We vote on the soccer one? I mean, we,
Oh, Freetown Lakeville Soccer?
yeah,
We can.
we have all the documents.
All right, I'm motion to vote on the Freetown Lakeville soccer contract for year 2021.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion? So Nelly, that whole package is done, complete, even, and that was the one with the money we owed them from last year, or no?
Yes, they had the credit from last
So
year.
they're paid up.
Yes, they're all
Okay.
set.
All right, they will call vote. Darlene, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tony,
Aye.
Paula,
I,
Joe, aye. So moved. Any other business from the commission?
I just have a question. Nellie brought up something to me, which I think that we need to think about before we start handing out guest passes for Clear Pond, is how many guest passes per household are we going to allow? 1, 3, 5? It's something we need to think about.
So my recommendation is that if you're a resident and you
Yeah.
show up at the gate and they say, okay, can I see your license? And then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
here's my license.
How
And
many?
then I don't think that we set a number.
I think we need to set a number because we're not going to be able to. I'm
Well-
not sure that we're going to fill the whole beach in terms of COVID, and unless that gets opened up entirely. So you don't want to have 5 people come in as guests at one time or 10 people. I think that's,
But if Doug determines that the beach is within 5 people of being overloaded, right? And then somebody shows up and as a guest and has, 6 people with them, unfortunately, all 6 people would not be able to go.
right. So we don't want to have that chaos at the gate. We
Well,
need
well,
to know.
I'm not saying that I don't think that we should limit the number of guests, though. I don't think people are. I hope not going to abuse it. And if you're a resident, you're bringing your mom or your cousin or whoever. It doesn't mean you can bring 20 people. Obviously, if they want to have parties that large, then there is a party application
Yeah,
which residents
Well-
can apply for.
I think we need to think about that. Darlene or Joe, do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, I think Doug's gonna basically, like, I think I agree with Tony. I mean, it's gonna shut down at a certain time, then you're not gonna be able to bring them in. I mean, I think somebody has a bunch of cousins come over and they want to go to the park and, they want to bring 10 guests in. Guess you have to decide, is it cap 10? Is it 5? Is it 2? I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it. I don't know.
What's the max number of people can be allowed in the park? We know that?
Well, the outside activities at this time is 150 people. I don't know if that's going to open up. Nobody knows that yet. And it would be nice if it did, because then we could get 200 people in there, or 250. So when Nellie talks to Ed, see if there's any change in the number of people for parks. I can actually ask to, well, I don't know, most of those places use beaches and swimming pools, but see if Ed has any restriction on the beach area, okay? So we can get an idea. I don't want to, promise everybody in the world can come in, which would be nice, but we can't do it,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's just a question. Have we ever had a situation where we had to turn people away in the past?
I don't know.
Never.
The only time I can think of is like 4th of July. And I don't know if we shut down. I know they had to shuttle people from different areas that they were parked in, but I don't know if we had to technically shut the gates.
I think that parking is a way to limit the amount of people that can be there as well. I mean, the parking lot's only so big and can only fit so many cars.
Yeah,
So,
but how many people are going to fit in the car?
well, true, but
I bring a van, they got 10 people in it. What can we do?
well, again, I think that's something the director and the board.
I think it's first has to be cleared through the Board of Health. When we get an answer from him as to whether or not there's going to be a restriction, that's our answer. But if there's no restriction, then we're free to, with guests.
Right.
Okay.
Just to remind everyone that May 16th, we are having a volunteer day at Clear Pond Park from 10 to 3.
2, I think you said 2. I can't remember if you said 2 or 3.
I think it was 10 to 3.
Okay.
So anybody in town is welcome to come down.
That'd be a great Facebook post. Does the Park Commission have their own Facebook page?
Yes, we do. Clear Pond does. Yeah.
Park Commission does? Oh, cool. Okay.
Clear
And
Pond
Tony's
has.
been posting, by the way, and he had a number of responses. A lot of people do volunteer. If they all show up, we'll be golden.
Great. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, like when we were talking to Doug, if anybody shows up and any help is done, then it's more help than he's usually had. So if we can do some raking and bring out some tables and clean them off and paint a couple of things, that's less work that is, going to be on there.
Were you going to fix the benches?
Yep, I'll do as much as I can from 10 to 3.
Yeah, he was going to.
That's all I can do. I got a couple of high school kids coming with me, so
Okay.
I know Darlene's worker Ryan is a nice
Have
kid.
him. He's mine. You can't have him.
I'm just taking Ryan.
It's a weekend. He's mine.
Who is he?
He's a great kid,
Yeah, he's
but
mine.
he's a great golfer too. I'll say that.
Okay.
Is it your son or something? Or
I hope he beat you bad.
He did.
All right, folks, any other business? Nellie?
Sorry, 2 things. I was trying to remember them and I came across them. First thing, in terms of Clear Pond, we usually get a cell phone for the director. We just need to know if we want to do that again, because accounting will have to get it, turn it on, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah.
I'm not sure why they don't use their own cell phone, or is that something that happens at other parks?
No, not really. Well, other parks within town, people do have their town cell phones, not their personal cell phones. So this is a dedicated Clear Pond town cell phone that Doug would have on hand, and he passes it in at the end of the season.
I think
Okay.
that's fine. I think that's a good idea. You shouldn't have,
It gives a second line.
and yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Paula, what do you think about that?
I'm surprised. But it is whatever. I don't know what to say.
Well,
We're
he's,
trying to cut costs and
well,
main,
no, I understand that, but it's very inexpensive. And does he
it
want his
is.
own personal cell phone number out there? I don't know that he does, so I don't have
Right.
a problem with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you get his personal
Yeah, I don't think that's.
phone number and I don't know who would be calling from the park to his cell phone, but I guess it's not a good idea that he should be exposed to using his own personal phone. That's
What's it used for?
what
I don't
I
understand.
don't know.
I really don't understand. I mean, I have a personal cell phone I have to use for my school and make phone calls.
Mhm.
You know, they don't give me a personal cell phone because I'm an employee there.
So Nellie, what's it used for? The Clear Pond.
I know for Doug, that's how I contact him daily. Back and forth between he and I. That's how we communicate all the time. It does stay on him, so it might be just easier in an emergency situation that if he's out and about, it's right on him versus having to go back and get the phone. It gives a second line to Clear Pond. That's not a public line. It's directly to him, so the town or park commission can call him directly while he's there.
But why wouldn't he be using his own phone number?
He doesn't have to. I
No.
guess it's just the point of we don't have to give him a phone, no, but he doesn't also have to provide his cell phone for
Why don't we
business use.
ask Doug when we see him whether or not he thinks he needs it? That would be fair, wouldn't it? We can ask Doug if he needs a second phone.
Okay.
I know in the past we've done, like to Darlene's point, not much money. We've done it. I think it's a safety thing too, especially with all the kids he's managing. Now, nice way for them to get a hold of them. I don't have a problem with going forward with that the way it's been. But you guys take a look at it. Speak to Doug if you want.
I hear that point even more. No, I didn't really think about that, Joe. Is
Yeah.
that he's managing a lot of kids
Yeah,
that are under 18.
Yeah, if something comes up, I think they need to get a hold of him ASAP type of thing.
Mhm.
yeah, that is more reasonable. I agree. Yeah.
And we don't have to decide right away. It doesn't take very long for them to activate the phone and everything, so.
I know, but it's one more thing we have to wait 2 more weeks for. Just do it.
No, we don't- it's already a done deal in the past. It's not an
We
issue
do
there.
it. We just have to do it. We have
I
to
know there was
see
a problem one time that we didn't get the phone back or it wasn't turned off or something. Maybe it's shame on us, but if some issue came up about the cell phone a year or two ago. I don't know, Nellie, if you don't know if you remember or not what it
I
was.
think it was just that it wasn't passed in.
Yeah.
That's
So
all,
just
but we
have to make
did get
sure.
it eventually.
Okay, so
It
Nellie,
was shut off.
get Doug a phone and we'll move on. Okay, that's not a problem.
Can we have a motion for the phone so I can?
I
have the
motion
counting?
that we give a phone to the director of Clear Pond Park.
Second.
Discussion, that would just be for clarification, that's just for the 11 weeks,
Yep.
right? From week before it opens to what, a week after? I think that's what it usually goes to.
Yeah,
Okay, roll call vote. Tony, what do you think?
Aye.
Darlene,
Aye.
Paula,
aye.
Joe, aye. Next, what else you got, Nellie?
Okay, my second thing is I did get correspondence in terms of our skate park, which they were stating needs some attention and fixing. Anybody want to get on top of that project?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The
The
skate park.
Oh, the skate park. When I went by there, I thought it needed painting. Definitely. It was kind of, the paint was all chipped. It really looks awful, but what else is wrong with it? I didn't.
The person was saying that there are cracks in the concrete at the end of the ramps which cause problems because the wheels get stuck.
That's very
And then-
dangerous.
Yeah, and then there's, grass coming in through the cracks, but if the cracks were filled, obviously that this would be all set. There's also weeding at the edges of the skate park that they would like cleaned up. And this person also recommended that there is a lot of space in there and a half pipe would be nice, a nice fit in addition to the skate park.
A
They
what?
also mentioned
A half pipe.
a half
Yeah.
pipe.
I'm sorry, what is that?
Paula, are you not hip with the skate lingo?
I haven't done any skateboarding in a long time.
Wow, we got to get you out there.
Not
I
one
think
in a
you'd love
couple
it.
years.
Oh, I think it would be the last time. Go ahead. All right.
So I don't know about the half pipe. They also were unsure if it would be approved. Half pipe is, kind of the rampy thing.
Yeah,
I
it's a
guess
double ramp.
Best.
It's
So
quite
they
an
can-
expense.
Yeah, they can go from the top of one and go across and do tricks in between.
I think it's a great idea, but we would need to look at some funding for that.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd also have to look at liability for that.
Well, I
our
mean,
fence
they,
isn't
they
that
have
tall.
they have the quarter pipes there, though. It's
That's
really
true.
you can just get just as hard on that. So I
Okay,
mean,
so who does the fixing of the cracks and the painting?
The painting, we should be taking care of. We can get that there. That should be something we can have Bob do that.
Okay,
The masonry,
Whatever it is. So we
I
should,
think that he can use a product called vinyl patch, which is it's really flexible and can fill cracks nicely. So if Bob's aware of that, we could ask him.
so I would suggest maybe we'll have Bob speak to Franklin, what he recommends for that there, and see what we can do. But painting it, we should be able to do that. Cracks, let's just see with Franklin what they recommend, if they've made something in the past, and then we'll get a price on what it is and move forward with that. We should be taking care of that part.
They also mentioned that there is some yellow tubing that's missing from the top of the fence.
yellow
Yeah.
tubing?
There's a whole roll of that in the next to the maintenance building. That's that
What is there?
6-inch pipe. You mean it's slit down the middle? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
it goes around the top.
So there's some in there, a whole roll of it. I was going to see if I could get some of that for John Pond for the fencing, but maybe we take a look at it with Franklin, see if it can be used and put it on
Yeah,
there.
maybe Ryan can do it.
Nellie,
Okay.
do you have somebody that is kind of like the head of skate park, or?
I have the person who corresponded about the skate park, and they're willing to do some fundraising for a half pipe, if it were approved, and if we wanted to move forward with that and such. So I do have their email address. Did you want to touch base with them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, I think, for, at least my generation, skateboarding was a huge draw. And, it's nice for the kids to go there and see that their skate park's not all broken up. And if it's the only thing that's going to get neglected,
Yeah.
Darlene, what do you got?
Well, my question was like, does anybody pay to use the skate park, or is it just like using the basketball courts?
Yep.
So, right. So just, the kids maybe could pull a few weeds once in a while. It wouldn't be too painful for them. I'm just saying, like,
You were young kids. You think
worry
you
about the
can do
weeds. I'm not being a jerk. I'm just saying, like, if you're there and you see some weeds, why don't you just pull them out? I mean, and I don't know anything about the paint. I always thought it was graffiti.
That's what you and I would do, okay? But we're talking about kids, and I don't know, I'm a non-parent, so I don't know that
Well,
any
again-
of these kids are gonna do anything on their own.
that's where this gentleman might come in play. I could have a conversation with him.
Yeah, get the kids in there to
There
read.
might be some kids that he knows that go down there. And again, you got to organize a day where
Right.
the focus is the cleanup and beautification of the park.
Right. So
Tony,
if
if
they're
you-
worried, if they care about it, maybe they'll clean it out. That's all.
Tony, if you
To-
get the
to this-
information, just get it back to us. It'd be great. How's that?
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to state to this person's character, they did offer to put in some time in weed as well.
Yeah, that's
Good.
awesome.
That's
That's
great.
good.
Well, that's what I'm
You
saying.
got to take pride in the place where you go and you have fun. And if you do,
Right,
it
I mean,
just
that's-
makes it better for everybody else.
Absolutely. And as far as painting, what was it? What does the paint mean? Like paint what? Like, I don't
Oh,
know.
the
If you come into the
quarter
park,
pipes
Yeah,
need to be painted.
when you come into the park, when we go over to sign papers, I'll show you, okay?
The ramps need to be painted.
They're all peeling. It
Yep.
looks awful.
Yeah, it
I
does.
just thought that was like graffiti or something. That's what-
Well, you
Looks
know,
like that now, Darlene, but I don't think it started out that way.
Graffiti's gonna be a part of it always, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Joe, one other thing on the business office, when Natalie's office, next door to the building is a whole bunch of pipes and junk in there that needs to be cleaned out. Is that something Ryan can do for us?
No, we talked about that already. We're gonna have Bob go through that, look at that, and see what's in
He's gonna
there.
do that too?
We're gonna ask him to do that storage shed, yes.
No,
Yeah.
not the storage shed. Next to the outside, there's an alley between the shed and the office building. If you look at it, there's PVC pipe there, about 6-inch PVC pipe. There's other pipes. It's just junk laying on the ground.
We'll have to speak to Ryan if that's something that they did left. I don't know what you're talking
And
about.
maybe
It's outside.
it's stuff he can use or something, but it's just been there for collecting.
We can have them take a look at it, see if they can clean it up.
Thank you.
Anything else, folks? All right, I'd like to make a motion. We adjourn this meeting.
The next meeting, when's next meeting?
Oh, that's right. Next meeting, 2 weeks from tonight. We are 5/17. Is that a good night? Monday the 17th?
What day?
Monday.
Monday the 17th?
Well, maybe by then we'll be able to meet in person.
Hope so. We always hope that.
But we need to meet before that because we were going to have give a week to hash out these fees for Clear Pond. So we need to meet in between before 2 weeks.
So next Monday?
Send the information out to us, Paul, and we'll set something up.
Pardon me?
Next Monday is town meeting, so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
where
that's
I'll be.
right.
All right, we can do a Tuesday.
So send something out with the information so we can all take a look at it and agree on a time for that.
We'll
Okay.
set, if we set the meeting time for Tuesday, we can bring it in at that time for discussion, right?
I'm saying send information out beforehand so people can look at it beforehand. That's all. Right?
Now, Nellie, can I ask a question? When this meeting, do we have to set a date for the next meeting is a question?
No,
Okay.
the only rule around it is that I need to post an agenda 48 business hours prior.
Wait.
Okay.
So if the information gets sent out and we decide we're gonna have a quick meeting on, say, Wednesday, May the 12th, I can post that agenda 48 hours ahead of time, but it doesn't have to be solidified at this meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
So we're saying next meeting is 5/17/21 at 6:30. Right? All right.
And what are we gonna do about the Tuesday of next week?
Can we just do a check-in at, say, 8 o'clock or something, or it's
I
not
don't
gonna,
know how we can do that, Nellie.
We can have a very quick meeting just for the pricing, just for the voting on the pricing, and that be it on whatever day, as long as there's 48 hours to post. That's all that's needed.
Tony, what, did you
I'm
have
okay
any?
with, I'm okay with that. I mean, if you just want to come in, get back in here for a quick Zoom, like 15 minutes, we'll get them some information from now until the 11th, and then come in at 8 o'clock on the 11th and just vote on it.
Is that a good time for everybody, 8 o'clock or 7:30 or what?
Tuesday night does not work for Scott. I know he sent a message out saying Tuesday night does not work for him.
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
When-
Wednesday?
The Wednesday?
Wednesday at 8 or
Well-
7:30,
7:30 on Wednesday? What's that
12th.
date? The
12th, the 12th.
the 12th, yeah. Okay,
So that will give us the rest of this week, Paula.
yeah.
If we want to grab some numbers from Doug again.
And Nelly, you'll send that message out to us on that one there. We don't want to confirm that yet for that date there.
Yep, that's no
Let's vote.
problem. And this will be the only item on the agenda.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll
All right,
just be
folks.
come in and vote for it.
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting. You have a second?
Second,
Roll call vote. Paula,
Aye.
Colleen,
Yes.
Tony.
Aye.
Joe, aye. Anything else, Nelly? Anything else? Going once, going twice?
Nellie,
All
I.
The Lakeville Park Commission meeting is now over at 8:57 PM, 5/3/21. Thank you all. Have a nice one, folks.
Bye.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.